Not mama, I'm hot. All right, y'all, we can praise, esteem, and honor to Abba and Shammai in the name of Yahshua HaMashiach. We're going to pick this up in John chapter 5, verse 39. Search the scriptures, for in them think you have eternal life. And they are they which testify of me. And you will not come to me that you might have life. I receive not honor from men, but I know you, that you have not the love of Elohim in you. I come in my Abba's name, you receive me not. If another shall come in his own name, him you will receive. How can you believe which receive honor one from another, and not the honor that comes from Elohim only? Do not accuse you to Abba. There's one that accused you, even Moses, in whom you trust. That you believe Moses, you would have believed me, for he wrote it. But if you believe not his writings, how should you believe my words? All esteem and praise to Abba and Shammai in the name of Yahshua. Acts 4:32.
And the multitude of them that believed were of one heart and of one soul. Neither said any of them that all the things which he possessed was his own, but they had all things common. And with great power gave the apostles witness of the resurrection of the Lord Yahushua, and great grace was upon them all. Neither was there any among them that lacked, for as many as were possessors of lands or houses sold them, and brought the prices of the things that were sold, and laid them down at the apostles' feet, and distribution was made unto every man according as he had need.
Acts 2:37.
Now when they heard this, they were pricked in their heart, and said unto Peter and to the rest of the apostles, Men and brethren, what shall we do? And Peter said unto them, Repent and be baptized every one of you in the name of Yahushua HaMashiach for the remission of sins. You shall receive the gift of the Ruach HaKodesh. For the promise is unto you and to your children, and to all that are afar off, even as many as the Lord our Elohim shall call.
Right.
And with many other words did he testify and exhort, saying, Save yourselves from this untoward generation. Then they that gladly received his word were immersed, and the same day there were added unto them about 3,000 souls.
They were what?
They were immersed, and the same day there were added unto them about 3,000 souls. And they continued steadfastly in the apostles' doctrine and fellowship, and in breaking of bread and prayers. And fear came upon every soul, and many wonders and signs were done by the apostles. And all that believed were together and had all things common, and sold their possessions and goods, and parted them to all, as every man had need.
Ephesians 4:1. We didn't hit a couple things right, and being one. Coming out of Egypt with Adam. So who would be left that you would need to deal with and showing them is being one, coming from one. One individual left. The Lord, but we didn't integrate that in. Who?
I said David.
Dude.
That'd be Noah.
Dude. We did that with them being one from coming out of Egypt. Last night we dealt with Adam. Of course, we dealt with one in the Mashiach, but it's one more individual. Now, one showing forth as being of one.
Levi?
Not Jacob either. One of the most important figures in this book.
Abraham.
Yes.
So she's leaving outside the box.
Ain't no box to be outside of. You know what I'm saying? At least, till the sun go down. Get inside whatever box you want.
Right. Yeah, I thought about, and it might not be as prevalent, but that Ruth, when Ruth and Naomi, when she left her people.
It's interesting because we could talk about that because they've been arguing about that, about if she an Israelite or not. But more so to focus on people not paying attention to the story is really not about Ruth per se. Really about Boaz and him being a kinsman redeemer. It is what it is. People try to make that out to be a love story. That's not a love story. Well, it is, but not in the romantic sense. You know what I'm saying? But The average person don't know about the kinsman redeemer, so they don't understand the relevance of that. I said on the difference, because that's still a line up with Abraham, because what his name is, Jesse. So let's hit this Ephesians 4:1. And then after that, Galatians 3:28 again, but what's in the tail end of that passage.
I, therefore, the prisoner of the Lord, beseech you that you walk worthy of the vocation wherewith you are called, with all lowliness and meekness, with long suffering, forbearing one another in love, endeavoring to keep the unity of the Ruach and the bond of Shalom,
Right?
one body, one Ruach,
How many bodies?
one body,
How many spirits?
one Ruach, even as you are called in one hope of your calling.
How many hopes?
One hope,
One tick box.
one Lord, one faith, one immersion, one Elohim, and above all, who is above all, and through all, and in you all.
Just Deuteronomy 6:4, general principle. Just because.
Here, O Yasharal, Yahuwah our Elohim is one Yahuwah.
One. Just one. No separation. Like we mentioned another night, which is hard for people to fathom, that the separation is not supposed to be doctrinal. It's supposed to be no divisions as far as it means discord. See, Yahuwah don't roll with no discord. Unnecessary and intentional strife and contention is an abomination to him, which is why Proverbs tell you what you're supposed to do with scorn and civic. Nah, cast them out. And when you cast them out, it said the contention or the discord will stop. And that the Lord really rocks. What a lot of people don't realize, they think doctrinal disagreements leave room for strife and contention. It really just shows you that they have the level of a spiritual maturity of a toddler. But nevertheless, Galatians 3:28.
There's neither Yahudim nor Greek, there's neither bond nor free, there's neither male nor female, we are all one in Mashiach Yahushua. If you be a Mashiach, then are you Abraham's seed.
Then are you what?
Abraham's seed and heirs according to the promise.
And when he told you Abraham's seed, not seeds of what?
Many seeds of one.
And that seed being, see, again, that's taking you back to, so I'll do this for me. Now I can't remember what epistle letter that's in. I think that's in the beginning of this letter we in. It, I can't remember. You know which one it is? Not seeds of many, but seeds of one. I think it's in that chapter. I could be wrong.
No, you're right.
It's in Galatians 3. What it is, about 9 or 10?
16, verse 16.
Give me 12.
He's saying the law is not of faith, but the man that do them shall live in them. Mashiach hath redeemed us from the curse of the law, being made a curse for us. For it is written, cursed is everyone that hang on a tree.
Stop. Now see, that takes us back to what we were talking about last night. He said, Mashiach redeemed us from the what?
Curse of the law.
Because it's written what?
Cursed is everyone that hang on a tree.
Now, what is the curse of the law?
Yeah.
Indeed. Genesis 3:19. Shalom, Jay. Genesis 3:19 for those who don't know. Because Brew will tell you the curse of the law is Deuteronomy 28. That's unfortunate. Because if you think this man died to get you out of captivity, you a simpleton. Ain't nobody need to die to get you out of the auspices of other people. Nobody got to die for that. You know all they got to do? I just come get you. Ain't nobody had to die for you to leave Babylon. He just moved Cyrus and say, send him home. Come on.
Saying the sweat of your face shall you eat bread to return unto the ground, for out of it what you've taken, for dust you are, and unto dust shall you return.
Just for people who might not think that that's what the curse is, man. Ecclesiastes 12:7, just in case they thinking we making something up.
Then shall the dust return to the earth as it was, and the Ruach shall return unto Elohim who gave it.
Because what he told you today, just read it for him. 9 and 4, same book. Ecclesiastes 9 and 4.
For to him that is joined to all the living there is hope. For a living dog is better than a dead
And that is
lion.
what?
For to him that is joined to all the living there is hope.
Stop. Give them join by definition.
You got kabar, to unite, join, bind together, to be joined, to be coupled, to be in league.
To be coupled, to be in league, to be. Now, is there any passage that comes to anybody's mind, whether in the epistles, whether in the gospels, anywhere that you're going to be able to unite with what he just read? Read Ecclesiastes 9:4 one more time.
And then the second definition is bakar, which is to choose, to elect, to decide for, to be chosen.
So we know chosen ain't the definition for this.
He said, for to him that is joined to all the living,
To all the living, there's what?
There is hope. For a living dog is better than a dead lion.
Does any passage come to mind for anybody? Let me help you out. 1 Corinthians 6:15. After that, 2 Corinthians chapter 3, verse 14.
It said, know you not that your bodies are the members of a Mashiach? Shall I then take the members of a Mashiach and make them the members of a harlot? Elohim forbid. Harlot is one body,
But he,
saith he, shall be one flesh. But he that is joined unto the Lord is one ruach.
now let me ask you a question. If you join to the Lord, would you not have hope? Now we know from John 11:25 what he said. You know we don't need no excuse to read it, so I'll just say it for you. What did Yahushua say he was?
The resurrection and the life.
And whosoever believe in him would never do what?
Taste death.
So that means that for the living, there's hope. He that's joined to the living, there is hope. Now, 2 Corinthians 3:14, because see, this go back to again to being a cod, of being one. You can't have that hope if you're divided. So again, like I said last night, in this game, man, unfortunately, in the United States of America specifically, everybody wants to separate themselves. I'm a Baptist. I'm an Israelite. I'm Yah-own. I'm Pentecostal. So on and so forth. I'm in the camp. I'm in the congregation. I'm in the assembly. I'm Hebrew roots. All this other type of stuff. All that stuff leads to is discord. All it leads to is strife and contention. The reality is all that stuff is of man. It's not an Elohim because he ain't direct nobody to do none of that. So the root of the matter is individuals supposed to be one in the Mashiach. Now, how you arrive to that point, we can sit down and have conversations about it. Because remember what we read last week, Paul was doing for 3 weeks. In the synagogue, reasoning with them that Yahushua was the son of God out of text. That's all you can do. But I'm not going to be like, I'm not going to fool with you because you say this or you say that. Like they were talking about this the other day because we didn't talk about it before. You know, you'll have some people say, oh, you don't got the spirit if you don't speak in tongues. I'm not going to be like I'm not fooling with you because that's what you say you own. That's just what you own. We can go through the text and sort that out. If we agree, we agree. If we don't, we don't. If you really pay, at least in the first century, at least in the Gospels and in Acts, and even in some of the letters, you can see that that's what they were doing the majority of the time. All the people didn't believe the same thing. That's literally what we call denomination, because that's what Bruce came. We didn't have a religion. It was, but they had sex back then. The Pharisees was a sect. The Sadducees was a sect. The Essenes, which is not mentioned in the text, but they were around that time, were a sect. Even with Paul them and the apostles who believed in Yahushua, he said, we've heard of this sect spoken of everywhere. You know what I'm saying? So that's not a new thing. People want to try to act like stuff is new. This stuff ain't new. I think I mentioned to you last night. Hey man, it said the Sadducees didn't believe in the resurrection or angel. So this is not new. But again, as it says in Ephesians 4:14 or 15, you know, till we come into the unity of the faith, not the unity of doctrines, if you would. Because what we call doctrines is not mentioned in this book. That's carnal stuff. You know what I'm saying? And be reality. Now, of course, if somebody on some weirdo stuff, yeah, I'm not fooling with you because you're wicked. But I'm not going to let, because I mean, there's so many things that people be on that I'm not going to let those certain variances be like, oh, I can't fool with you. Okay, y'all go on the 7th day, we go on the 1st day, I'm going to be separated from you. No, I'm not going to do that. Now, you around here talking about, hey man, we can have wild orgies and this, that, and the third. Yeah, we not gonna fool with you. Because we not supposed to fool with you. He tells you the type of individuals not to fool with. Do we need to look at it, see? Let's take a look at it for them just in case they don't know. 1 Corinthians chapter 6, man. Verse 4, man.
If then you have judgments of things pertaining to this life, set them to judge, or at least esteemed in the assembly. I speak to your shame. Is it so that there is not a wise man among you? No, not one that should be able to judge between his brethren. But brother go to law with his brother, and that before the unbelievers.
Before the unbelievers.
Now therefore there is utterly a fault among you. If you go to law one with another, why do you not rather take wrong? Why do you not rather suffer yourself to be defrauded? Nay, you do wrong and defraud, and that your brethren. Know you not that the unrighteous shall not inherit the Malkuth of Elohim?
They ain't gonna get
Be
it.
not deceived, neither fornicators,
Nor fornicators.
nor idolaters, nor
Who else?
adulterers, nor effeminate, nor abusers of themselves with mankind, nor thieves, nor covetous,
Watch out, watch out.
nor revilers, nor extortioners shall inherit the Malkuth of Elohim.
Shalom, Brother Robert, Brother Ernest.
Nah, I think it's 1 Corinthians 5. I really need it. You can pick that up at 5 also.
It is reported commonly that there is fornication among you, such fornication as is not so much as named among the Gentiles.
We ain't never heard of it.
That one should have his father's wife.
Listen, man, them boys was knocking down their mama. Or your father's other wife, meaning your mama died or put away, whatever the case may be. They violent. Go ahead.
And you have puffed up and have not rather mourned that he have done this deed might be taken away from among you.
Get him out of there.
For truly as absent in body, but present in Ruach,
What else?
judged already, as though I were present concerning him that hath so done this deed.
What else?
In the name of our Lord Yahushua HaMashiach, when you are gathered together in my Ruach, and with the power of our Lord Yahushua HaMashiach,
What else?
deliver such a one on the Hashatan for the destruction of the flesh, that the Ruach may be saved in the day of the Lord Yahushua.
What else?
Your esteem is not good. Know you not that a little leaven leaven the whole lump?
Hold on.
Purge out therefore the old leaven, that you may be a new lump, as you are unleavened. For even a Mashiach our Passover is sacrificed for us.
What else?
Therefore let us keep the feast, not with old leaven, neither with the leaven of malice and wickedness, but with the unleavened of sincerity and truth. I wrote unto you in the epistle not to company with fornicators.
Not the company with who?
With fornicators.
So these are the type of people you ain't supposed to be fooling with. And who else?
Yet not altogether with the fornicators of this world, or with the covetous,
Now you ain't supposed to be fooling with no covetous people.
or extortioners,
There's nobody who's an extortion.
or with idolaters.
If he's an idolater.
For then must you needs go out of the world.
He said if you do that, you have to die. Go ahead.
But now I have written unto you not to keep company if any man that is called a brother be a fornicator or covetous or an idolater or a railer or a drunkard or an extortioner. With such a one, no, not to eat.
So these are the people you notice that it's never going to be the aspect of sex based off of doctrine, quote unquote. It's going to be behavior. Now, Civic, just do this here for people who may not be aware, man. Go back to fornicator. Tell them what it means. Because see, people will tell you fornication is just having sex with somebody you ain't married. It runs a gamut of illicit sexual activity, a multitude of degenerate sexual activity. Really, you can read them all in Leviticus, I should say. You know, you want to have sex with your sister, fornication. You want to have sex with an animal, fornication. You want to have sex with a woman on her menstrual cycle, fornication. You want to have sex with two sisters, fornication. You want to have sex with your mama, fornication. You want to have sex with your auntie, fornication. These things are listed because this is what the Canaanites were doing in the land. For those of you who don't know, because that's the cultural context. See, you read these things, and people will try to automatically zoom them into the modern day. There's a cultural context of where these instructions were coming from. Them African folks at that time were freaks. And what y'all don't know is the cultural context of the peoples of that time. Sexual degeneracy was at a rate that y'all couldn't even imagine. Because you think it's bad now. Always. You know, we talk about it, man. Will, man, tell them about Sokope Beno, man. Tell them about it. You know about Sokope Beno, Tom? Man, tell them about Sokope Beno, man. First strip club, that was a whorehouse. That was a place of worship for a particular Babylonian deity. And in that place of worship, that's why it tells you don't bring the price of a whore into the house of the Lord. Because it's referring to in these other deities, they would have prostitutes in there and you would trick with them. And that money they took was for the worship of that particular deity that they were in that house prostituting for. And not just the women. Because when you look at sodomite by definition, sodomite just doesn't mean homosexual. It means a male temple prostitute. Even when you read Corinthians 6, when he said no effeminate gonna get in, that's a male temple prostitute. So you don't have no idea of boys busting their pussy open for men for cash. They did that in the ancient times. Regularly. Consistently. And a lot. You know what I'm saying? See, you think homosexuals it was just Sodom and Gomorrah. Nah, some of the deities of antiquity, man, you know, you had to let somebody break your freshness seal if you want to worship. Yeah, I'm just trying to tell you, look it up. We done did it in my life. We done did the knowledge on this.
That's what you said as far as like when you getting paddled, it's supposed to be.
Yeah, that's what it symbolized when you were doing that, going to the fraternity, you letting the man spank you. You simulating the man sodomizing you, boy. What you say there?
I was saying that the dude that really had paid for, he would have been like a male
Yeah, he'd have been a male temple prostitute. You would have went to the house of Dagon, you know what I'm saying, or the house of Chemosh, or the house of whoever, and end up, amen, because we didn't go into that, because I was supposed to go in a deep dive about sex magic with y'all, and what that is and what that looks like, and where that come from. I did it years ago, before I was in the world, I'm telling you. It ain't never stopped. That's why you got all these orgies. That's why you get the entertainment business, and they want you to do all this old freaky deaky stuff, because that's how they harvest the energy to worship their God, because that's what their God requires. You know what I'm saying? And then they have a problem with Yahuwah. Yahuwah don't require you to be the freak of all freaks. That's what they gods require. So that's why that's in them. I'm just telling you that. That's what fornication is. But give them the definition. It's just not. See, I'm gonna put it this way, right? Could you classify if you having sex and you're not married to the woman as fornication? Yes, it's uncleanliness. Law-wise, what does the law tell you to do if you lay with a woman who's not promised to another man? You have to marry her. You know what I'm saying? And or you go to her father, and her father could turn you down. You'd have to reimburse with a certain amount of shekels. So how do you do that in the modern time? Because that's dealing with a woman who's a virgin. So if this woman's not a virgin, there's no dowry to be paid. Because if you're paying a dowry for a woman who already been with another man, I'm just going to tell you that you're an idiot. You know what I'm saying? Because that shit doesn't say it. So then how do you reconcile that righteously with just judgment in this particular time? If you're not going to marry the woman, stop having sex with her. That's it. You know, because dudes in the world overcomplicate it. I'm not going to tell you have to marry her. But if you're going to keep laying with her, you're going to need to marry her, or you're going to get your wicked behind from around here. You know what I'm saying? Because you're just not going to just be sitting up laying with a woman, knocking her down for 2-3 years, and everybody just cool with it. No, if she's good enough to have sex with, then she should be good enough to marry. I ain't talking about you just old freak. And you around here have sex with somebody one day and you gone. If you sitting here laid up in the same having sex with her every day, or you laid up in the same house with a man, you let them pay the rent and bust up, you won't marry him, you're either retarded, dumb, or evil. Or all three. That's if you say you want to serve God. Now, if you don't want to serve God, you can be as freaky as you want. And that's what people get the game twisted at, because people try to regulate people who not in the word. In the word. God already judged them by his word. But if you say you're going to be in the word, then this is what it is. Either do this or do that. Because if not, what are you going to do? You're going to put this man to a what? An open shame. And at that point, you're taking his name in vain. And that's because people tell you taking his name in vain is using certain phraseology. That's not what that means. Taking his name in vain is mean your lifestyle, you profess him, but your lifestyle makes the power of his name worthless. Or you're blaspheming his name. Because that's what people tell you. Don't take the Lord's name in vain because you said certain words. They don't know what that means. Let's read it to them, see if we can Proverbs 30, just in case they don't know what it means. Thirty and 5.
Every word of Elohim is pure. He is a shield unto them that put their trust in him.
Indeed.
Add you not unto his words, lest he reprove you and you be found a liar.
Indeed.
2 things have I required of you, them not before I die.
Give me what?
Remove far from me vanity and lies.
Move far from me what?
Vanity and lies.
And do what else?
Give me neither poverty nor riches.
Give me poverty nor what?
Nor riches.
What you want then?
Feed me with food convenient for me.
Yeah, let me get what I need.
lest I be full and deny you and
say, who is Yahuwah?
Or lest I be poor and steal and take the name.
And take the name of my what?
Elohim in vain.
See, that's how you take, because what does your law tell you not to do? What does the law say not to do? Based on what he said, will take his name in vain. Thou shalt not what? Steal. So he said, if I'm poor and I steal, I just took your name in vain. So if I say that I'm in you and I'm doing things contrary to you, I make your name worthless. So when it says, don't take the name of Yahuwah your Elohim in vain, he will not hold him guiltless who may take it. Just read it from here. The Epistle of the Rome, 2:11. See, it's harsh because don't nobody tell nobody that. So then you don't have nothing to consider from. So then you continue down a pathway that won't be good for your soul, which in reality keep you separate from him. Go ahead.
For there is no respect of persons with Elohim, for as many have sinned without the law shall also perish without law.
I see that goes back to the Hamites, the Kenites, the Jebusites, the Hivites, the Perizzites. They died without the law.
And as many as have sinned in the law shall be judged by the law.
And the Israelites, you had the law and you sinned in it, and I'm gonna judge you by it. Because what's one of the biggest lies they tell people? What's people be telling people, man? Oh, God can't hold you accountable for it if you don't know it. That man ain't never said that nowhere. You can't read that off the paper nowhere. How many of y'all done heard that before? You know, when I used to be in the street preaching, that's what dudes used to tell me. Don't tell me that, because if I don't know it, I ain't accountable for it. I said, yeah, that's what you think. You're going to hell either way. Whether you know it or whether you don't. Go ahead.
Say, for not the hearers of the law are just before Elohim, but the doers of the law shall be justified.
What else?
When the Gentiles have not the law, do by nature the things contained in the law, these having not the law are law unto themselves, who feel the work of the law written in their hearts.
Right.
Which is also bear witness their thoughts, the meanwhile accusing or else excusing one another. In the day when Elohim shall judge the secrets of men by Yahushua HaMashiach, according to my gospel. Behold, you are called the Yahudim, and rest in the law, and make the boast of Elohim, and know his will, and approve the things that are more excellent, being instructed out of the law, and are confident that you yourself are a guide of the blind, and a light of them which are in darkness, an instructor of the foolish, a teacher of babes, which have the form of knowledge and of the truth in the law.
What else?
You therefore which teach another, teach you not yourself. You that preach a man should not steal, do you steal? You say that a man should not commit adultery, do you commit adultery? You that abhor idols, do you commit sacrilege? You that make your boast of the law, through breaking the law, dishonor you, Elohim? For the name of Elohim is blasphemed among the Gentiles.
Now see, earlier in this chapter, he tell you inexcusable, old man. They tell individuals not to do something, you do the same. Inexcusable. You know what that inexcusable will take you to? He's not going to hold you guiltless for taking his name in vain. See, some people are in that, and you'll get nervous. They ain't to get nervous about. It's the reality these people don't be telling us the proper information. So then you walk around thinking you good, you ain't good. So you feel like, hey, I can just do this here and say I'm sorry. That's because that's what they tell us. Just say you repent. They don't tell you repent mean to turn. You can't repent from smoking crack if you're smoking it every day. Because if you repent it, guess what you ain't gonna do no more? Smoke crack. I ain't smoking no more. You know what I'm saying? But give them that definition of fornication again. Because that's really why I went through all that. Because it runs a gamut of things. It's not just this to one thing. And just how you rectify that in a righteous fashion. You rectify it righteously. Because you remember when your man's almost choked chick out. You remember that? I don't want to mention the name though. You remember when I told your man cousin had done almost killed that girl, man? She disrespected him about some sausage. They had a whole bunch of junk going on. Either way, he was knocking her down, but he didn't really want to be with her. And he felt like he had to marry her because he was knocking her down. I'm like, bro, I get that, but if you don't want to be with that woman, bro, you don't have to be with that woman because you have sex with her. You should have never had sex with her in the first place. The truth be told, you knew you didn't want to be with her before you had sex with her. It was just you knew that was easy yams for you to get. That's why you did it. You know what I'm saying? And then you knew that was consistent yams for you to continue to get. That's why you kept doing it. But you knew you didn't want it. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, to kill all that, just stop having sex with the girl, move on with your life. He went ahead and chose to marry her. And yeah, man, that boy, they got into it. And boy, that boy, man, he realized when her eyeballs was about to pop out of her face, that boy, you about to go to prison for the rest of your life. But I mentioned that because, now listen, he's not justified in what he was doing, but that woman was pushing him to that point where a man doesn't have control over himself, that's how he gonna respond. And she knew what she was doing to needle him to respond in this fashion. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, but all that came from because you believe, because you was having sex with the woman and the people around you telling her you got to marry her. This woman already got damn near a grown child. You ain't got to marry this woman. Just stop having sex with her. Go on with your life, bro. Go serve God and don't have sex with nobody till you actually get married, guys. That's it. That's how you rectify that in a righteous fashion. It's not that difficult. But see, they convince people you have sex with them, you gotta stay with them. But the law don't even say that, because it says if you lay with a woman and she ain't betrothed for her daddy, say no. That's a no. But if you marry her, it says you can't divorce her your entire life. Because you done humbled that woman. You know what I'm saying? You done defiled that woman. I've been mentioning that because being a freak in Yahuwah's eyes was just not something to be doing. You just couldn't just be around here knocking people down. You know what I'm saying? He said something to him about that in Amos, man. He said, y'all in here running trains, boy. My man said, boy, I'm not with that. I'm glad. I was never with that. That's like always weird. Why you want to be in a room with 4, 5 butt naked dudes is beyond me. You know what I'm saying? And y'all want to go in the same woman at the same time? Oh, y'all nasty. Y'all high-fiving each other like you did some cool stuff. Boy, that nigga was in there looking at your butt, boy. You know what I'm talking about? Come on, that's fornication, my definition. Well, I don't want to listen, man. It's 2 places I did not enjoy being at with butt naked men. That's in the locker room and in the penitentiary. You know what I'm saying? Why do I want to be anywhere where there's men walking around butt naked? You like this the place to be? I never understood the dudes in the sports leagues. You dudes just walking around naked. You cool with that? Man, I'm finna get dressed to leave, man. Man, I don't want to do that. I don't do that, man. They did us in prison, man. They got 72 men in a circle, butt naked. Why y'all got 72 men in a circle is beyond me. With no clothes on, cuz? And why you signed up for this job? See, they had you in there with a dude like that. Oh, I ain't
Listen, I ain't strip search nobody.
We talking about on intake. I'm talking about on intake.
Oh, I ain't working intake.
I'm talking about on intake.
I still wouldn't do.
Yeah, in intake when you everybody come in, yeah, everybody off the bus, man, strip them. Everybody in a circle. You got one, it's always one who really want to investigate. Always one. Yeah, too serious. Let me see you squat cup. Why is you looking like that, huh?
All the black men just like, hey, first I know you don't want to see my weed. I'm like, you know what? You're right. Let me take your clothes off.
I definitely don't. I couldn't have been no CL. Hey, boy, don't get caught with what you brought. That's all I can tell you. That's all I can tell you, boy. I'm not checking. You know what I'm saying? The only way I'm checking is if a supervisor in here, boy, because if it's just me and you in here, hey, boy, don't get caught with it. How you know I got something? I don't. I'm just telling you. Don't get caught with it. That's all I can take up. I'm not doing all that. No. Go ahead. Fornication by definition.
Fornicated. This is pornos. A man who prostitutes his body to another's
I told you.
higher. A male prostitute. A man who indulges in unlawful sexual intercourse. A fornicator. A debauchee. A whoremonger.
You see that first definition? What I told you, man. That stuff went wrong a lot. And you look at pornos, and that's where the word porn and pornography come from. And guess what it is? A male prostitute, boy, you're gay. Boy, you're watching porn, boy, you're gay. Why is you gay? Because as a man, you got to think about that. Why are you getting aroused by watching another man get some yams? Is you looking at him or her? Well, you watching wee what? And you paying to look at it too. That arouses you. You gotta just something to consider. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead, say what's the next?
And then fornication is pornea, that's illicit sexual intercourse, adultery, fornication, homosexuality, lesbianism, intercourse with animals, sexual intercourse with close relatives, sexual intercourse with a divorced man or woman, metaphorically, the worship of idols.
So see, like I told you, it runs a gambit of things. It's not just one thing. What's the next word?
Do you guys for any others?
Yeah, everything incorrect.
And then you got covetous, that is pleonectes, one eager to have more, especially what belongs to others, greedy of gain, covetous.
Read that again.
You got pleonectes, one eager to have more, especially what belongs to others.
You're greedy, or you want something that belongs to somebody else. You say don't fool with them. What else?
And then extortioner is harpax, rapacious, ravenous, an extortioner, a robber.
You like to rob. What's the next one?
And then idolater,
That's self-explanatory.
a worshiper of false gods, and idolatry.
What's the
Covetous
next
man
one?
is a worshiper of men.
Notice that a covetous man is a what? A worshiper of men. That's what we just talked about. Because a lot of these boys in the world worshipers of men. We just told you that, man. A lot of these boys in this music thing, we boy, hey, man, you got no status, boy. I can't do no song with you, but I gotta do something with him because everybody know him.
And you got a railer. This is loidoros, a railer or a reviler. Abusive, that is a blackguard.
You use abusive language towards people.
And then you got a drunkard, thusos, a drunkard, intoxicated.
You always on that alcohol, boy. I know. Alcohol. Go ahead.
That was all of them.
So these are the type of individuals you say, hey, don't sit down, don't keep company with them, and don't feast with them. Notice that nothing came up about any type of doctrinist behavior. Now ask yourself this question with the behaviors that you hear. Those are some real malignant behaviors that you can definitely be, evil communication, corrupt good manners. Y'all ever sat around an alcoholic? What a lot of them want you to do with them? Drink with them. You ever been around freaky, deaky people? They want you to participate in that freakiness with them. I ain't talking about you with your person, and they want you to get freaky, because that's between you and them. I'm talking about super freaky people. See, a lot of y'all ain't been around those super freaky people, man. They want you to engage in wrong activity. That's how people end up in swingers groups. Tell you, my homeboy lived next to a door to some swingers, man. The wildest thing I ever seen. Y'all agreeing to come over here and do this? No, for real. He was like, boy, the swingers live next door to me. I thought he was lying, but we came back to the house one day and they were going up in there. What other, when you're dealing with somebody covetous, you got to be careful of that. People who are insatiable and greedy and things of that nature, that stuff rub off on you. Because they're going to try to influence you with their deeds and their words for you to participate in such behavior. Be careful, man. That boy head red, huh? No, I'm talking about him and head son. Head look like the front part of a hammer.
Got your head.
They seem like that. That was wild. That boy ain't got no edges, man. Come to 2 Corinthians 3.
But their minds were blinded, for until this day remain the same veil untaken away in the reading of the Old Testament, which veil is done away in the Mashiach. But even unto this day, when Moses is read, the veil is upon their heart. Nevertheless, when it shall turn to the Lord, the veil shall be taken away. Now the Lord is that Ruach, and where the Ruach of the Lord is, there is liberty.
Where the Ruach of the Lord is, there is what?
Liberty.
Tell them what liberty means.
Eleutheria, this is liberty to do or to omit things having no relationship to salvation. Fancied liberty. License, the liberty to do as one pleases. True liberty is living as we should, not as we please. Freedom. And you know that's going to take us back to kosher, without tax, debt, and obligation. Back to Ecclesiastes 9:4. For to him that is joined to all the living, there is hope. For a living dog is better than a dead
Now, we
lion.
mentioned all that because he was joined to a Mashah, there is hope. Now, I'm mentioning this here to take us back to Abraham, because those who were joined to Abraham have a particular hope. Because what is the promise of Abraham? Genesis 12:1. And we'll come back to Ecclesiastes 9.
Now, Yahuwah has said unto Abram, get you out of the country, out of your country, and from your kindred, and from your father's house, unto a land that I will show you. And I'll make of you a great nation. I will protect you and make your name great, and you shall be a blessing.
You shall be a what?
A blessing.
And what?
I'll baruch them that baruch you, and
And what else?
curse them that curse you.
And what else?
Shall all families of the earth be baruched.
And then you shall all the what?
Families of the earth be baruched.
Tell them what families. I know some of y'all know that word.
Mishpachah, a clan, a family, a tribe, a people, a nation, a guild,
A
a
people,
species,
a nation,
a kind,
a tribe,
a circle of relatives.
a circle of who?
Of relatives.
Now, when you hear that, what comes to mind? Let me do another one. We'll work this in. Genesis 49 and 4.
He said, unstable as water, you shall not excel. Reuben, you are my firstborn, my might, the beginning of my strength, the excellency of dignity, and the excellency of power. Unstable as water, you shall not excel, because you went up to your father's bed and defiled you with. He went up to my couch.
Who did Reuben defile with? What Reuben did? You know what Reuben did, Lil John? What you looking at Monica for? I mean, you can go the same direction. You said Monica went up and defiled her father's couch.
Nah, he said,
That a man had sex with his daddy's concubine. So he lost the right of the firstborn because of that. So that's wild. Go ahead.
Say Simeon and Levi are brethren.
There it is.
Instruments of cruelty are in their habitation.
What else?
O my soul, come not you into their secret, unto their assembly. My honor, be ye not you united. For in their anger they slew a man, and in their self-will they dig down a wall.
Stop. Give him assembly by definition, then we'll go through what that passage is testifying.
That is a hall, assembly, company, congregation, convocation, an assembly for evil counsel, war, or invasion, religious purposes.
Now that company or congregation is equal to the same as a family. Go back to Mr. Pine and give me the carry forward. Okay, my mind ain't that's good.
Got Meme, Sean, Hay, Cotton, Hay.
Meme and what else?
Sean,
Pay.
Cotton, Hay.
So if you got meme and you're looking at a family, you have water. So we'll say spirit for that, right? Then you got pay. So we'll go with the
Yeah, Sean.
So you got that Sean. So what does Sean do?
Compare to.
You can pair to, but it also does something else. It consumes. So you did with the fire, the words of the Ruach consume. And what's the next one you said?
Got Hay,
And then you got what else?
Cotton, Hay.
So now we mentioned pay already. That's where the mouth come in at. So now you got cotton hay. So now you look at the man with raised arms, or Yahushua's words separate and consume by Ruach. This is how you're able to be made in his family. Because you can't be in his family unless his words consume. What did his words consume? Romans 6:1. We'll see what they consume. This takes us back to the immersion with the oneness to get us back to Abraham and what we talk about in Ecclesiastes.
He said, what shall we say then? Shall we continue in sin that grace may abound?
God forbid.
How shall we that are dead to sin live any longer therein? Know you not that so many of us as were immersed into Yahushua Mashiach were immersed into his death?
Stop. What's the process that has to be done for you to be immersed into his death? What needs to be done? The word has to be preached. That same word preached by his spirit is going to do what? His word, of Yahushua's word, is going to separate and consume. But what is it that is consuming? The carnal nature or the flesh of that individual so that they can be joined unto him. You can't be joined to him in an unclean state. Let's do this here for a second. See, Paul did right. Isaiah 59 and 20. But there's another one I don't need no excuse for, but it don't ever be no, it has to be a specific reason for this to be right.
And the Redeemer shall come to Zion.
Who coming to Zion?
The Redeemer.
Tell them what type of Redeemer is it. Is it God? Is it Padal? What type of Redeemer is it?
This is God.
And what kind of Redeemer is that?
The kinsman Redeemer.
And that's the same Redeemer that's in Hosea 13 and 14. See, that takes us back what we mentioned before we started by who? Boaz, because Boaz is a kinsman Redeemer. What does the kinsman Redeemer do? It's one of the functions of a kinsman Redeemer, LaJohn. What else? What's another aspect of a kinsman Redeemer? Any type of debt, but what is another aspect of a kinsman Redeemer? There's one more. Obviously, Boaz is representative of that. That's a fact. Filling in to be able to redeem or buy back the inheritance of someone who passed away when there's not an heir there to get it. But that's what Boaz did. Boaz was a kinsman redeemer of Naomi's husband's sons, or her husband, period, because there was an inheritance to be gotten and there was no one left. It's for his sons and husband in order to buy that back. So that's what you look at. Yahushua fit all three of them. I don't got time today to do all three. Y'all know one of them, the clearing the debts. And what the other one said? I don't know.
He would ask about the inheritance. If there's no one there to pick it up. And like, at this point, if they dead and someone else has that, that's the point.
So a family member could.
So a family member can
so
get
they
it.
get it so they can give it to a family.
Yeah.
Right.
Let me what that said in Jeremiah.
Over my head. Thank you. Appreciate it.
You remember what it is in Jeremiah? What it is? Chapter 32? Y'all know what I'm talking about? Jeremiah redeemed the land. I don't feel like looking in that book. I'm gonna have to go back here and give me a second. Walk back. I forgot. Everybody might not recall or might not be aware of the kinsman redeemer or what that's about. Huh? What are you gonna pull up? Who's on? Oh, man, my back will hurt for the rest of my life.
Hey, 15.
I know we got. I mean, I'm gonna do that with chiropractor. My back, make it for the rest of the life. You said 32 and 15? Yeah, I'm looking at it. Pick it up at verse 1. This is Jeremiah 32 and 1.
The word that came to Jeremiah from Yahuwah in the 10th year of Zedekiah, king of Yehuda, which was the 18th year of Nebuchadrezzar, when the king of Babylon's army besieged Jerusalem, and Jeremiah the prophet was shut up in the court of the prison, which was in the king of Yehuda's house. Zedekiah, king of Yehuda, had shut him up, saying, "Wherefore do you prophesy and say, thus saith Yahuwah?"
Also, for those of you who are not aware, you can read Leviticus 25, and that's where the kinsman redeemer is referenced in the law. Go ahead.
And wherefore you do prophesy and say, thus saith Yahuwah, behold, I will give this city into the hand of the king of Babylon, and he shall take it. Zedekiah, king of Yehuda, shall not escape out of the hand of the Chaldeans, but shall surely be delivered into the hand of the king of Babylon, and shall speak with him mouth to mouth, and his eyes shall behold his eyes. He shall lead Zedekiah to Babylon, there shall he be until I visit him, saith Yahuwah. Though you fight with the Chaldeans, you shall not prosper. And Jeremiah said, the word of Yahuwah came unto me, saying, behold, Hanamel, son of Shalom, your uncle shall come unto you, saying,
Your who?
Your uncle shall come unto you, saying,
What uncle mean? Who know what uncle mean? Absolutely not. Yeah, in Hebrew. Somebody's name. well-known man. Yeah, means beloved. Uncle means beloved. Go ahead.
Then Yahweh shall come unto you, saying, buy you my field that is at Anathoth, for the right of redemption is yours to buy it.
Give him redemption. Now, again, these are things that we'd have to splice and dice the law. But inheritance stays within the family. You understand? Remember how the law said you cannot remove your neighbor's landmark? So let's case in point. We got Johnny and Jonathan here, right? Let's say, because you older than him, let's say, okay, that's your older brother. Let's say that's your cousin. He dies, his grandfather's dead, his father's dead, he has no sons. So the writer, because I mentioned that because that's what's going on with Jeremiah, because he's saying that it's his uncle. If that's his uncle, that means it's his nephew, which means if there was no nephew, then it'd be a cousin. That means a direct relative has the right of redemption in your bloodline to redeem something. If there's nobody else who's supposed to get it, because it's supposed to go from father to son, to son to son. But if there's no sons, then it go to your daughter. But if there's no daughters, it's got to go to your next kin. They have the right of redemption to purchase that, so it stays in the family. Because that's how Israel operated. That's how the law, that everything stayed in the family. The stuff don't go from tribe, clan to clan, so on and so forth. Go ahead.
That is daily law, kindred, redemption, right of redemption.
You see that kindred, redemption, right of redemption. Go ahead.
He says, so Hanamel, my uncle's son, came to me in the court of the prison, according to the word of Yahuwah, and said unto me,
What he said?
buy my field, I pray you, that is in Anathoth, which is in the country of Benjamin, for the inheritance is yours, and the redemption is yours. Buy it for yourself. Then I knew that this was the word of Yahuwah. And I bought the field of Hanamel, my uncle's son, that was in Anathoth, and weighed him the money, even 17 shekels of silver.
What else?
I subscribed the evidence and sealed it, and took witnesses, and weighed him the money in the balance.
He did what? What did he subscribe to? What?
The evidence.
Tell him what evidence means.
Sephirah, a book, a missive, a document, a writing, a book.
So when he subscribed to evidence, that means it's in the book. So gospel-wise, because we ain't talked about this in a while, what that mean?
You got a legal document, a deed of purchase, certificate of divorce, an indictment.
A deed of purchase. So what's the deed of purchase? You can look at it written in the book as the words that are written in the book. The deed of purchase is the blood. Go ahead.
It says, so I took the evidence of the purchase, both that which was sealed according to the law and custom, and that which was open.
You say he took the evidence of the purchase. So for us, what's the evidence of the purchase? Huh? No, I'm talking about for us. If he said that he taken the evidence of the purchase. The Ruach HaKodesh is the evidence of the purchase. And he that's joined to the Lord is one spirit. And where the Ruach of the Lord is, there's freedom. You know what I'm saying? So this is the aspect of being one. There's no division, and none of that, what he's talking about. Because if you got the Ruach and that's evidence of the purchase, then how would any of us be separated? And again, this is just dealing with a kinsman redeemer. Because again, that takes us to Hosea 13 and 14, the Gaal. That's a kinsman redeemer. That's why it goes back to what we were talking about last night. That's why Yahushua has to be the second Adam. Because he's the only one who can redeem Adam, because he would be his only near kinsman. Because what we read in Luke chapter 3, it said Adam is of who? He's of God. So Yahushua is of who? That's why people don't understand he couldn't be Joseph's son. If he's Joseph's son, he can't be near kinsman to Adam to redeem him. Ain't no way. But see, brothers don't be knowing that because they don't know the law well enough. Read John 7 and 50 just because. Make it 47. Make it 45. Now, like I said, if y'all read Leviticus 25 with the kinsman redeemer, you just got questions, just call my phone. We ain't gonna be able to deal with it right now, but if you got questions, just call my phone. We deal with it then.
John 7.
45.
So then came the officers to the chief priests and Pharisees, and they said unto them, why have you not brought him? The officers answered, Never man spake like this man. Then answered them the Pharisees, Are you also deceived? Have any of the rulers or of the Pharisees believed on him? But this people who know not the law are cursed.
These people who know not the law are what?
Are cursed.
They what?
Are cursed.
See, a lot of people don't know the law. So they don't know that if we gonna get redeemed from death, a near kinsman has to do it. Who brought death in the world according to Romans? 5 to be exact. So who the only person can redeem Adam? Only God can redeem Adam because God is his only near kinsman. Who's the near kinsman to Adam? Back to Romans chapter 6.
Verse 4.
Romans 6:4.
Say, therefore, we are buried with him by immersion into death, that like as a Mashiach was raised up from the dead by the esteem of the Abba, even so we also.
Notice that you're buried with him in immersion to death. That means you join to the living. Go ahead.
That we should walk in newness of life. For if we have been planted together in the likeness of his death,
We shall be.
also in the likeness of his resurrection.
And what else?
Knowing this, that our old man is crucified with,
And what
the
else?
body of sin might be destroyed.
And what else?
Henceforth we should not serve sin.
What
He
else?
that is dead is free from sin.
You free from what?
Is free from sin.
Who the Lord is, there is liberty. Give him free there, man, just because.
This is the Kaio. This is to render righteous, for such he ought to be, to show, exhibit, evince, one to be righteous.
Notice, to render righteous, one ought to be. Go ahead.
You got just or innocent.
If you free, that means you what?
You got just or innocent.
I go innocent. Think of that now. You said you innocent. Well, how would you be innocent? You know what I'm saying? You innocent in the aspect of. He said he blot out your transgressions with the what? That would make you what?
Innocent.
Innocent before his throne. Because your sins and iniquities, he will what?
Remember no more.
Make you innocent. See, people don't be wanting to hear that because people want to get stuck on what you did before. What you did before, over with. Now that that's on my brain, how many of y'all sit around cycling through your mind about the things you done before? Thinking you sitting around stewing on it. You be doing that? But why you doing it? Now I can understand that. But then at that point, what does that do for you? Now let me show you something. 1 John 4:19. And after that, the 2 Corinthians 7 and 7.
So we love him because he first loved us. If a man say, I love Elohim and hate his brother, he is a liar. But he that loved not his brother, whom he hath
4:18.
seen,
My bad.
there's no fear in love.
There's no what?
No fear in love.
Because fear.
Perfect love cast out fear.
Because fear.
Have torment.
See, that regret come in because of fear. Now you have to ask yourself, what are you fearing? You know what we fear more than anything for the most part, especially if you're not accustomed to it? What you think that would be, Lil Johnny? No, not even failure in this instance, though that can be for some people. Some people are so crazy that failure don't even come in their brain, which ain't necessarily a bad thing. I think like Vince McMahon was one of them type of people, that he was so delusional, and not delusional in a negative way, so delusional that in his own mind that I'm going to be successful, that failure don't even creep into my brain. You know what I'm saying?
I think niggas feel their full potential.
I would agree with that also. And the other aspect that I look at is, which is really what he just said. You fear being the individual you could be without the weight of past bad decisions. So you stupid. And you live in it. But I put it to you like this here. Ain't none of y'all gonna sit in a pot or pool of your own excrement. You would do what? Get up and you wouldn't look back. I used to say this all the time, man. How many of you, unless your doctor instructed you to, you know what I'm saying, have a bowel movement and then turn back around and grab that feces out of the toilet? You don't turn back around and look, because that's over with. Now I get it, because I know maybe ladies might be more inclined to doing this than men do, but the reality is you have to look at a situation. Okay, this is what happened. This is what I did wrong. This is what I could do better. This is what I learned from that situation, and it's over with and I'm out. Listen, man, I've been out of prison for 17 years. I do not be thinking about what happened on December 2nd, 2004. I don't be sitting around doing. Yeah, you do it when it first happened, but you think I'm finna be replaying some junk for 20 years? Hell no. Man, that's junk over with. You know what I'm saying? Now, I smoke a lot of marijuana in my day, so I don't remember a lot of things anymore. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna lie, boy. I barely remember my children being born. I'm talking about like all finite details, this and that. No, it's not. I don't have an eidetic memory. I don't remember all this stuff like that. I used to have a memory like that. I don't. Maybe it's the weed, maybe it's the age, maybe it's both. I don't know. But I don't remember all that stuff. You know what I'm saying? But one thing I ain't never did is continually play bad decisions in my brain over and over again. This is why people be committing suicide, smoke drugs, or become alcoholics. Because I heard a dude say this here, man, when Robin Williams committed suicide, man, they was like, he was in therapy for all of them years. And if you sit around talking about sad stuff 3 times a week, you always gonna be depressed. You know what I'm saying? See, remember I played y'all, this years ago though, you might not remember, when this white dude was talking about ain't no such thing as depression. Now, it is a such thing of it, you know what I'm saying, because it's a chemical imbalance in the brain. But the reality of it, what it is you have to go do something. You know what I'm saying? And what I mean, what you have to go do something is, the more success or positive things that you have occur, the less likelihood you have to focus on things that didn't go the way that you would want them to go. Now, is that easier said than done? Of course it is. You know what I'm saying? But it's just really a mindset thing, man, because you already know, man, life take you under real quick. But see, I mentioned all that there because that aspect of focusing on regret or focusing on I used to do this or I did this or I did that. See, that's what the adversary hope for and play on. Because I'm going to tell you something that Yahuwah don't do. He don't throw in your face what you done. He going to check you for what you done. He going to teach you how to not do that any longer, and then that's going to be the end of it. See, that steady throwing up your face, that's why you were a whore. That's why that nigga left you. That's why you sell drugs. That's the adversary gonna throw that in your face. Because then you're gonna be sitting there, Yahuwah don't do that. And when I say the adversary, and I ain't talking about just Satan. I'm talking about you. Because you were adversary to yourself. You're your own worst enemy. Because the person that you who is really your enemy is the person looking back at you in the mirror. And when I say that, I ain't talking about just the individual, I'm talking about the carnal mind. That's why you have to replace it. Because if not, now everybody's mind don't work like that, but it doesn't mean there's something wrong with you if your mind do work like that, because sometimes it's human nature to replay things back in your brain. Some people replay things back in their brain because they just want to assess it, and then sometimes stuff just comes back in your brain and weigh heavy on you, and the next thing you know, you've been watching, Heat of the Night reruns, eating ice cream for 4 hours, feeling sorry for yourself. And that's how Satan come through and get you. That's what you've been doing, watching Heat of the Night rerun? Yeah, no, that one right there. She don't want to talk to. You back there cheesing.
I'm high and I didn't even know you could see me.
You just came back in here, you about to get banned. Should we ban her? Should she get banned? This nigga terrorist watch. You know what I'm saying? But you get what I'm talking about? Because you have to sit back and look at, man, it's over with. You know what I'm saying? Because, and I'm going to be honest with you, especially if, that's right, he wink at sin and ignorance indeed. Say sadness because his children, if you keep their life moving with activity, they won't get a chance to dwell on it. Indeed. Now, I don't want you to do like I was watching Dark Side of the Ring. All that really do is just deal with, particular stories behind the scenes and professional wrestling. Now they were dealing with a particular wrestler. His name was Jeff Jarrett. Now he was just dealing with the aspect, his wife died from breast cancer. So what he did was he never processed his grief, he just kept working. Now that's something that you can't do. You just can't ignore certain stuff like it didn't happen. You know what I'm saying? Because eventually later on down the line, it's gonna pop back up and you ain't gonna know what to do with it. So some things you have to process them, you have to get through whatever emotions, feelings, thoughts, concerns, or whatever the case may be that's gonna come from that. It's gonna be uncomfortable, but once you process it and get past it, then you can move on. And then, like I told, telling me right, I done told a couple ladies this here, man. Some stuff you have to own it. See, if you own it, and this is, it's not if somebody did something to you. You know what I'm saying? But if you did something and you made a mistake, you just gotta own it. One, if you own it, can't nobody hold that over your head. See, when you don't own it, people hold that over your head. You know what I'm saying? If you be like, yeah, I smoke crack. So if they say that's why you're a crackhead, what that means, you've already owned it. You've taken the power of them ridiculing you away. So if you own that bad decision, that's over with, the power back in your court. Then once you own it, then you can acknowledge what part you played in it. Then when you can acknowledge what part you played in it, then that means that you can go through something that we all like to call maturation. And what does maturation lead to? That leads to growth. Therefore, that situation can no longer haunt and or torment you. Now, a lot of stuff be tormented because you be focused on if the another person was involved. See, if that other person was involved, you have to remember this one key component. They ain't got nothing to do with no choice or decision that you made. Because you made that choice or decision. Now, they may have done some, and when I say that, you could have made a choice or decision and they could have behaved a certain type of way, but the behavior that you allowed it. You know what I'm saying? Case in point. If I'm dealing with a woman, that woman called me out my name, I'm going to check you one time. You call me out my name again, you fired. And I ain't never dealing with you ever again. I'm not going to go through 3, 4, 5 years of this, that, there, and the third and be like, man, I should have dealt with that. Because I'm going to get rid of you right there because I don't have to deal with that. Because one thing that I'm not going to do, I'm not going to love you more than I love myself. You're not going to disrespect me like that. Absolutely not. I wouldn't care. Your vagina ain't that good and you ain't that pretty. So I'm cool on that. Because I'm not going to deal with that. Because that's how you end up in a situation 5, 10, 15 years down the line and you got regrets and you beating yourself up. I told you, man, my dog, like, yeah, my old lady woke up, man, she's sitting on my lap, she got the gun on me. I'm like, are you still with her? She throwing pots and pans at you, hitting you with microwaves and toasters. I'm not dealing with that, bro. That's not love, man. It's a true story, man. They told me. You know what I'm saying? And I knew his old lady. He got mad at me with, now he knew I was in the word. She knew it too. She knew I'd be in the neighborhood, dropping word on people, and then he liked his hair. She found condoms in the car. And he spoke to my man, you supposed to told her them were yours. Yeah, you lying to me. She already know they ain't mine. I'm like, brother, you know that would destroy everything we out here doing. The minute I tell that lie to this lady and tell that the cover for you, shouldn't have had them rubbers in your car. You got caught slipping, that's on you. Cause she know she already know. She see me out here every day. She know I ain't made my condoms, bro. You were mad with me for a long time like that. And you should have been cheating on that lady, you know she crazy. You know what I'm saying? That woman was my age now. She was 46 years old. She was literally old enough to be his mom. This nigga was knocking everything down, boy. Reckless, too. He was. You know what I'm saying? Man, bro used to slide off with chicks and tell her that he was with me, but don't tell me that. I don't like to say it. He's talking about, he expected me to lie for him. I'm gonna lie for y'all, right? I'm gonna lie down and go to sleep. I don't know nothing about what y'all got going on. Don't you bring me into that. But people get in situations like I'm telling you, man. Because it's I already know, like, life difficult. It's a twofold thing. But you don't want to be sitting around letting the life decisions weigh on you. Because this is what that 2 Corinthians 7 gonna get you. What you holding on to? Oh, you just read what I wanted. Read it again, though. This is 1 John 4 and what? 18. Mm-hmm.
There's no fear in love, but perfect love casts out fear, because fear hath torment. He that fears is not made perfect in
It's
love.
not made perfect in love. See, that regret is really based in fear. Give him fear by definition.
That is phobos, fear, dread, terror, that which strikes terror.
And that's what the regret brings, is dread. See, fear ain't always necessarily like you just overly scared of something. It's dread. And that dread lead to terror. So that dread don't cause you to be made perfect in love, which means you won't be able to serve Yahuwah like you want to, because you dreading things that really ain't got nothing to do with him. But you have to sit back and look at it, right? Like I mentioned before, right? Why is it so hard for individuals who say, oh, I'm in Christ, you in Christ, I'm in the Mashiach, you in the Mashiach, I'm in the Messiah, you in the Messiah, but don't nobody want to come together. Come together, not in the aspect like people scream to come together, but actually be tapped in and linked in with each other because of fear, because of dread. What is that dread? Because you got did dirty by somebody over here. So now you trying to hold me responsible for what this person over here did. I ain't got nothing to do with that. That's what's one thing I done told you about, like me, like as a man, I wouldn't deal with no woman who got issues. Cause I didn't break your heart, I didn't damage you. I'm gonna have to deal. See that, and you know what they're trying to tell you? You a real man if you deal with that. You's a real fool. That's what you is. You's a real fool, and not because there's something wrong with that woman per se. It's because if you didn't break that woman's heart, if you didn't wound that individual, you can't fix it. And if you don't have the capabilities and the mentality to deal with it, you're going to be mentally and emotionally drained and destroyed. And that person's still going to be broken. And now both of y'all broke. And that's vice versa. As a woman, if that nigga damaged in the brain, what you think? You gonna motherly love that out of him? No. That's where you hear the women say, you know, I'm drained dealing because you was a fool. Well, you need to go fix that. I'm not dealing with that. Because if you know, you people be talking about, you know, oh man, get his heart broken in the third grade, this, that, in the third. You call it what you want to call it, but if you see that nigga down bad like that, baby, you can't fix it. But you know what y'all be thinking? Y'all think y'all vagina and your cooking skills good enough to heal the world. It's not. I promise it's not. I promise you there's not a vagina under heaven good enough to heal a mentally deranged individual. I don't care how good you think it is. Well, I don't know how you thought pleasure was gonna make a nigga be like, you know what? My mama didn't love me properly, but you freaked me so good that I'm better now. That's what we be thinking. I done told you this before. If that nigga don't want to get no money, or you can't suck his soul out, and you can't toot it and boot it no good way, that's gonna make him say, you know what? I'm gonna get up and get me a job today. Get me some money, man. Boy, she threw that thing back last night. Boy, I need to go get me some money. No, that ain't gonna work. That's not gonna work. That nigga still gonna be laying on the couch. He's still gonna be going to do dirty house playing mad. Picking you up from work. You know what I'm saying? You wondering why my car smell like, you know what I'm saying, Chanel number 5? Because he had a hole in here. Because he ain't got nothing to do. So the only thing he got to do is entertain women. Yeah, that's how y'all be feeling. I can love him back to hell. Man, can't nobody love nobody back to hell. He got to love himself back to hell. He got to love himself enough to say, I don't want to go through this no more. She got to love herself enough to say, I don't want to go through this no more. The only person who can hear that is God. I ain't God, so I ain't doing it. Now, I can do it for you and not be with you. That's different. You know, being a friend or a brother or a father figure, you can do that then. But you talking about, it's different when you intimately involve with another individual. That's a different type of dynamic that people be underestimating. You know what I'm saying? See, if there's nothing sexual going on and you dealing with this individual, you can do that for them because there's nothing's been crossed. You know what I'm saying? But when you start hunching and doing all that other stuff, man, stuff get twisted. That woman attached to you now. You know what I'm saying? No, man. No, you can't do that. That's what people in the word be messed up at. That's why I'm gonna tell you, man. At least you can tell any young woman you know in the word, man, if a dude care about you and your soul ain't right, he ain't gonna try to be with you. He gonna try to get your soul right. If he trying to be with you, that man trying to make himself feel better by being with you. I'm talking about if you don't know him. They ain't talking about somebody, even still, at this age, because I'm older now, right? You know what I'm saying? Say if I wasn't married, I wouldn't try to get no woman I used to deal with when I was younger, talking about, yeah, come so she could be in the work. But number one, you're not the same person you was when we were 20. Let's get that out of the way, because I'm 46 years old. You're not the same person that you were when you were 20. You done had 25 years of life experience. I ain't trying to untangle all that. You know what I'm saying? And I ain't trying to teach you nothing. If you eat pork, keep on eating. You know what I'm saying? You like to walk around with your titties hanging out and your booty cheeks out and clapping them in the club? Shoot, I'll clap for you. I can't do nothing with you. Because you doing that because you want to be with this person and you said, okay, let me hit off with this. But this woman probably don't even want to do this. Because what a lot of the men underestimate is, and these women will conform themselves to whatever the man that she loves is doing. That's if she like it. Now, if she don't like you, she ain't changing nothing. But if she like you, if you a Muslim, she gonna become a Muslim. You know how many women I know been Muslims, Israelites, and Christians simply based off the dude she was with? See, I can't deal with that because I need you to be on that on your own. Because if that ain't what she on, she gonna destroy you over time. Because when it come out, she don't want to do it. My God, today. Well, you all right, boy. Well, you don't need to be looking like that. That boy, what you doing to that boy? That boy say no, man. What you doing to that boy, man? That boy make it please. Always blame it on the nap. Come on, give him 2 Corinthians 7. It is something they can say, man. You know, people do what they want to do. I didn't know what I ain't gonna do. That just be dangerous, man.
What verse?
2 Corinthians 7:7.
Said, and not by his coming only, but by the consolation wherewith he was comforted in you, when he told us your earnest desire, your mourning, your fervent mind toward me, so that I rejoice the more.
Come on.
For though I made you sorry with the letter, I do not repent.
I don't repent.
Though I did repent, I perceive that the same epistle had made you sorry, though it were but for a season.
For a season.
Now I rejoice not that you were made sorry, but that
you were made sorry for what?
That you sought to repentance, for that you were made sorry after a godly manner, that you might receive damage by us and nothing.
See, God, a lot of people don't want godly sorrow. Godly sorrow is we're gonna check you with this word, and I don't care if your feelings hurt. Because godly sorrow work to repentance. It's just like we already know the story when Nathan stepped down on David. That was godly sorrow when Nathan came and checked this man. See, a lot of people in the word don't want to be checked. And you know why they don't want to be checked? Because they don't want to feel no shame. But in Ezekiel, he told you need to be ashamed. Because if you was ashamed of your conduct, then you would consider your conduct and you would refrain from it. See, that's what's wrong with people. Now don't nobody get shamed. That's why all these young boys crackheads. They ain't smoking crack, but I mean they junkies. Because you know what ain't gonna happen? Ain't nobody gonna look at him and say, boy, you a fiend, boy. Nah, man, I'm just pop pills, bro. You on 6 different prescription pills, boy. You a junkie, boy. At my time, boy, in the late 90s, man, early 2000s, boy, we'd have said, boy, that boy a dope fiend, boy. That boy is on that dope, man. That nigga's a junkie. You know what I'm saying? Now what people tell you, man, nah, man, you gotta let people live their life, man. That's why you got punks out here. You have a whole month for sissies. You know what I'm saying? See, they can't verify my identity. The channel ain't my time. I done tried to join 6 times. I don't even care to figure it out. Not straight up, man. That's why these white folks fighting so they can be pedophiles legally. Because there ain't no shame. There ain't no shame in what you got going on. Ain't nobody ashamed to be like, I sell drugs and kill people. Listen, man, I seen on my Instagram feed, man, they say, what it is, young boy, this the whole city of Atlanta. Ain't nobody can sat there and told them, because that song trash. Why you made that? Why you act like this? Why did you pretend to be an old white woman to get doggone promethazine? You was a fiend, boy. But you know why don't nobody say nothing? Because we making money with you. So I don't care what you do. Destroy yourself. As long as I can benefit. You know what a lot of ladies do? You know your friend the whore. That's the 4th nigga this week. You tell her, just live your life, be free. She's seen 4 men this week. That ain't cool. People that sit back and talk about men, why these men don't take care of their kids. You see how some of these women treat their children? Don't none of you hoes say nothing to them. Why you talk to that baby like that? Why you slap that baby like that? Y'all know I ain't lying. You probably know people who do that. You just be in shock. Why you talking to that baby like that? You supposed to tell that funky hoe, stop talking to that child like that. And if she get offended, you start fooling with her. But she need to know you ought to be ashamed. Oh, that baby ain't did nothing to you. Some of y'all remember one day we were downtown, man. Shoot, man, I ain't know. In the back of my mind, I thought I was gonna have to beat this lady up, man. She was talking to this little boy. You MF, F you little boy. I said, man, why you talking to that baby like that? That's my child. Hold on, I'll slap you out. Man, I'm gonna go to jail. Cause hold on, I'll beat you up out here by this little boy. You understand that little boy gonna be damaged and probably grown up to be a stone cold killer by now? Because of the rage and pain and hurt he got because his mama talked to him like that. It's not his fault you homeless hoe. He ain't do it. Straight up and down, because he hate his mom. Y'all be screaming about these men hate women because his mama was a human piece of excrement. And he hate women because he hate his mama. And he take out what he couldn't do to his mama out on y'all. People don't be want to deal with that. You know what I'm saying? Because that's a real thing. You know what I'm saying? The men in here know it. It's dudes right here. Y'all be screaming these men hate women. Most men don't hate women. Most men just hate stupid hoes. But women, ladies, most men love women and ladies. But there's a lot of men who have issues with women because they hate their mama. Because black people don't like to acknowledge that everybody may have had a mother, but everybody ain't have a mama. You know what I'm talking about? So they didn't get loved. So they take that out on people. You know what I'm saying? And vice versa, you got a lot of women, they don't know how to love their children or love a man because of their mama. So they don't know how to love nobody because their mama ain't love them. And make them loose with the Lord. You don't want to be loose with the Lord. It's make your life hard. Go ahead. Now you got to understand what it means to be loose. Loose with the loins ain't you with a dude and it ain't work out. Loose with the loins means you loose with the loins. Anybody can get it. You know what I'm saying? You know, you winked at me today, here's some loins. You told me I was pretty today, here's some loins. You know what I'm saying? You asked me, could you fix my car battery? You know what? Here's some loins. That's loose with the loins. You know what I'm saying? Not you with a dude and it didn't work out. That's not loose with the loins because you was only giving him loins. I know women who are loose with the loins. You know what I'm saying? See, get what I'm talking about. Every man here know what I'm talking about. When a woman loose with the loins, you reconsider. Unless you just been down bad for a little while because you don't want the loins. Them loins ain't no good. You know what I'm saying? They loose. They damaged. It might be AIDS infested. You don't know. She get into everybody. A woman loose with the loins is a nigga who always buy cigarettes and he know everybody know they can ask him for one and he gonna get it. Because if you really smoke cigarettes, you ain't gonna pull your pack out in a room full of niggas, then you know what's gonna happen. Oh, let me get a cigarette. Or they gonna hit you with this one here. You know what they hit you with? You probably heard it in prison when you were working in it. Let me get a show. That's a woman even worse with the Lord. Let you get a show, you get shared. Show up.
That's it.
That's it. That's what was in Amos. Two men going to the same maid. Short me up. Blasphemous. Go ahead, sir.
It says, for godly sorrow work repentance, salvation, not to be repented of.
But what world is sorrow?
But the sorrow of the world work death.
And that's what that regret and things of that nature come from. Things that you did that were hostile to the cause of Mashiach, that work death. Because when you dwell on that sorrow, that worldly sorrow, you know what ends up happening? You usually end up repeating those patterns. But godly sorrow work repentance, because if you move to sorrow in a godly fashion, you sorrowful that you've offended against your maker, so therefore you cease and desist from that type of behavior. Now see, here's the caveat. There's the difference between the two. Most people are not having godly sorrow, having worldly sorrow about things you did before you got in the word. Ain't no need to have sorrow about what you did before you knew God, because you didn't know God, that's why you did it. If you knew better, you probably wouldn't have done that. You know what I'm saying? And that's what a lot of us don't consider. See, for me, I got the word, I was almost 29, so I'm already knowing. Shoot, I should have died and went to hell. So therefore, I'm not holding myself to nothing I did. I do this one did. Somebody go check that thing. Cut number 6 on. Red. Where's that? On the top part. Who cut that in? He got a couple. I got 3 and I got 6.
What's on?
Oh, but yeah, that's what most people do. Most of y'all, did you beat yourself up about stuff you did in the word or before the word? So you have to sit back and look at it. If it's before the word, how you gonna kick yourself in the behind about a standard that you didn't even know existed? You know what I'm saying? See, I ain't talking about the little stuff that people be talking about, like, I know you ain't supposed to do this or do that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm talking about really having an understanding.
I got it
You can't beat yourself up about that. You ain't know nothing. Like, I knew I shouldn't have sold crack, but you know, I ain't gonna be like, oh man, God gonna hate me forever. I mean,
Try 3.
Because I ain't know God, I wasn't serving God, I wasn't doing none of that. You know what I'm saying? So you have to look at an opportunity that while you were yet within your sins, Hamashiach died for the ungodly in order to purge you from that. So there's no need for you to be kicking yourself in the behind about it. You have to change your perspective. You were actually given the opportunity at life. He could have let you stay like that. You know what I'm saying? Everything be based on perspective. If you sit back and look at why would God love me? Why you worry about why he loved you? You ever thought because you made in his likeness, in his image? You ever thought because he was merciful and long suffering and forgive sin, iniquity, and transgression? Because there's somebody just like you who done did just what you did, and God don't fool with them. And it ain't got to even be no reason why he don't fool with them. He just choose to fool with you. So don't be concerned about why he fooled with you. Be satisfied that he fooled with you. Just like we're talking about, we know a lot of niggas who say this in this word, and I can tell for a surety that God don't fool with them. Remember, Dawg Yoshi tell the mother homeboy Junior this all the time. He said God don't like you because he don't correct you. Because he was talking about the stuff he be saying out of his mouth. But then you got to understand the text tell you that who Elohim love, he correct. So if he don't check you, that man don't fool with you. But see, this is something that when you look at a child, right? I've told you this has been passed recently. You let a child do what they want to do, in the back of their mind, they know that you don't care about them. They may can't put that into words, but they know that you don't love them. Because if you love me, you wouldn't just let me do whatever I wanted to do. You would give me some type of restraint, some type of structure, some type of instruction. You know, people always say that kids want boundaries and rules and things of this nature, which I don't know. You know, a lot of them like this here, man, but they got to know, man, you can't do what you want to do in here. Now, you ain't got to hit them with the old black person line when you whooping they behind. I beat you because I care about you. You're whooping me because you ain't got no self-constraint. And what I mean by that is you don't have the ability to constrain yourself and instruct me in the fashion for me to understand and grasp exactly what it is you want me to do and why you want me to do it. So because you don't have those communicative skills, you just lash out and strike me. Because you ain't taught me nothing. You ain't showed me nothing. You just yelling and screaming and telling me what not to do, but you ain't taught me what to do, and now you whooping on me. That's not because you care, nigga. It's because you're incompetent and immature. You know what I'm saying? Let's let that be known. Because you know, black people like you got to be whooping on them children like that, man. That's unnecessary. If you have not instructed. Now, if I taught you and you willfully bucking me, I'm gonna let thy right hand of fury come down upon your soul until you are consumed. Because I done taught you, I done showed you, I done told you, I done gave you understanding, you giving me your butt to kiss. That's different. But if you ain't taught them, you ain't showed them, you ain't imparted understanding, you didn't take the time to have the care to teach this child and the way that they should go, what you yelling and whooping on them for? You yelling and whooping on them because you're incompetent and you know it. And you mad at them because they can't read in between the lines of what you wanted them to do. Nigga, he's 6. He ain't been here for 6 years. He just stopped doodling on himself. He just learned how to read. You want him to pick up on nuances and subtlety. Get the hell out of here. You know what I'm saying? That's crazy. But I'm just telling you, and people say you get that from slavery. That don't come from slavery, man. That comes from an individual who has the inability to instruct and communicate. That's where that comes from. I'm not blaming that on no goddamn slavery. That's a cop-out. You know what I'm saying? You don't know how to teach, and you frustrated you can't teach, and you taking it out on that child. Because they didn't do something that you wanted them to do, and you feel inconvenienced because you got to come over here and do it. I don't give a damn about none of that. My children cross lines all the time. I will say the same thing to you 45 times and stand right here for 45 minutes until you do it. You ain't getting out of it. I ain't got to hit you. I'm not doing none of that. We're not going nowhere. I need you to do exactly what I told you to do. I don't care about you crying, whining. Because see, some of y'all hear that crying and whining, you get frustrated. Man, I listen to niggas scream and holler for 4.5 years. You understand me? I'm talking about niggas get up in the middle of the night just beating on glass, rapping. Take your behind the bed, nigga. Niggas just sitting here screaming and hollering. That don't bother me. You ever been in the room with you been in there, them niggas be in there screaming and hollering for no reason? Nigga rapping in here like somebody, Puffy ain't coming in here to sign you, boy. He might want to sign you, but he don't want to sign you, but you're not getting the deal. Ain't nobody coming in here listening to none of this stuff. Now, they don't do that in prison as much. When you in that county jail, though, them boy give me 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. Beating on glass, rapping. You don't take your funky behind the bed, boy. If you can deal with that, blocking out a child is nothing. They did all that screaming when you were working. See, but they'll keep on walking past me.
Depending on the unit, it's always the older peg that told them to shut up.
Yeah, see, the motorhead gonna get him. You know what I'm saying?
Well, man, we trying to sleep. Nobody trying to hear that.
Nobody trying to hear that, bro. I'm for real, man. You have grown men, man. Outside of my man, shut up. We want to give a performance. Nobody asked you this. Nigga gonna sit up there and preach the gospel to you. You should have been preaching it before you got here. You going to prison, boy. Come on, Ziggy, man. Go back to Ecclesiastes 9. And for
For to him that is joined to all the living, there is hope. For a living dog is better than a dead lion.
Mm-hmm.
For the living know that they shall die, but the dead know not anything, neither have they any more reward, for the memory of them is forgotten. Also their love, their hatred, and their envy is now perished, neither have there any more portion forever in anything that is done under the sun.
What else?
Go your way, eat your bread with joy.
Eat your what?
Eat your bread with joy. Drink your wine with a merry heart, for Elohim now accept your works.
I mentioned all that because you already know what that's referring to. That's how you get joined to the living, so you have hope. Because you ate how many pieces of bread, see?
One.
And you drank how many cups of wine?
One.
So now you join. So now he'll be accepted because you won. Now go back, Genesis 15, verse 4.
And behold, the word of Yahuwah came unto him, saying, This shall not be your heir, but he that shall come forth out of your own bowels shall be your heir. And he brought him forth abroad and said, Look now toward Shamahim and tell the stars, if you be able to number them. And he said unto him, So shall your seed be. He believed in Yahuwah, and he counted it to him for righteousness.
See, now there's another place, right? What did he say about Abraham's seed? How it would look aside from the stars. He gave another visual representation. Sands of the sea. So then I ask you this question, Lieutenant. Coastline at Jack Beach, made up of millions upon millions of granulars of sand. Would you say that's correct? How far does that coastline extend? No, I ain't talking about in mileage though. Like it go all the way to Miami, all the way up to where? So, but guess what? That's still one shoreline. No matter how many different states, no matter how many different cities, no matter the case may be, that shoreline is not divided. See, I mention that because he said your seed shall be as the sand of the sea. No matter how much sand is along that sea line, that seed line, that sand is not divided. It's still one shoreline. You know what I'm saying? That same Atlantic Ocean in Jax Beach is the same Atlantic Ocean in Jersey. The same Atlantic Ocean in Virginia. The same Atlantic Ocean in Maryland. So I'm mentioning that there because it's still one, deriving from one particular source. See, when you begin to look at some of these natural things, man, and you see that, especially in Yahuwah's creation, that everything fundamentally always is one. And that there is no division, no separation, or anything of the sort. Now, somebody mentioned this passage earlier. They wasn't talking about it in the terms that we're going to talk about it, but I need to slide that in there, right? Give me Zechariah 12:7. I really need 10, but 7 is fine. You can make it 5, actually.
And the governors of Yehuda shall say in their heart, the inhabitants of Jerusalem shall be my strength in Yahuwah of hosts their Elohim. And that day will I make the governors of Yehuda like a hearth of fire among the wood, and like a torch of fire in a sheet. They shall devour all the people round about. On the right hand and on the left, Jerusalem shall be inhabited again in her own place in Jerusalem. Yahuwah also shall save the tents of Yehuda first, that the esteem of the house of David and the esteem of the inhabitants of Jerusalem do not magnify against Yehuda.
Right.
And that day shall Yahuwah defend the inhabitants of Jerusalem, and he that is feeble among them at the day shall be as David, and the house of David as Elohim,
Right.
and Malachim of Yahuwah before them.
Right.
It shall come to pass in that day, I will seek to destroy all the nations that come against Jerusalem, and I will pour upon the house of David and upon the inhabitants of Jerusalem the ruach of grace and of supplications. They shall look upon me whom they have pierced. They shall mourn for him as one mourns for his only son.
Now I want you to give him grace and supplication. And this is going to take me back to Genesis 49. And it's going to take us to something in John chapter 12. I had it in my mind, but I didn't say it out loud.
Grace is honey, favor, grace, charm, acceptance.
Stop. So he's going to pour out the spirit of acceptance. Now you can be accepted in the beloved. This goes back to what I'm talking about beforehand, about dealing with regrets and things of this nature. If he's poured out the spirit of acceptance and he's accepting us even in a state where we should not be accepted, and we got to go back to Isaiah 59:20 also, then you don't need to be concerned about anything else. Since I said all that, right, go to the epistle of Romans, man, 5 and 7, man, so they can understand the basis of what we're talking about. You can reread Zechariah 12 and 10 after you read this Romans 5 and 7 and Isaiah 59:20.
Say, for scarcely for a righteous man will one die, yet peradventure for a good man some would even dare to die. But Elohim would commend his love toward us, and while that we were yet sinners, Mashiach died for us.
While we was what?
Yet sinners, Mashiach died for us.
And what else?
Much more than being now justified by his blood, we shall be saved from wrath through him.
What else?
For when we were enemies, we were reconciled to Elohim by the death of his son.
By the what?
By the death of his son.
That's why he said, I poured out the spirit of grace and supplications, and you'll look upon him whom he hath pierced. Go ahead.
Say, much more being reconciled, we shall be saved by his life. And not only so, but we also join Elohim through our Lord, Yahushua HaMashiach, by whom we now have received the atonement. Wherefore, as by one man sin entered into the world.
That's good. Now they say you receive the reconciliation, which is what Zechariah is alluding to. If you have a spirit of acceptance, that's reconciliation. So you don't have to be focused on, because listen, right, a lot of people feel like because you know information, that means you in the truth. But is that what the book says? What does the book say in regards to that? To actually be in the truth, you know what you actually have to do?
Worship and rock in truth.
That, but that's not the one we angling for with that. Because before you can even worship and ruach and in truth, it's something that you have to do before that. That's fair, but it's still something that you have to do before that. It's kind of linked in Isaiah 59:20. Read it for him, see, maybe that'll help him out.
And the Redeemer shall come to Zion, and unto them that turn from transgression, and Jacob saith, Behold. As for
They turn from what?
From transgression.
This is how you get to be able to get that ruach of grace. What else?
It says, as for me, this is my covenant with
This is my what?
My covenant with
That I will make with who?
my my ruach that is upon you, and my words which I have put in my mouth shall not depart out of your mouth.
Nor out of the mouth of your
Seed,
nor out of the mouth of your
seed,
from henceforth
and forever.
Notice that he said, the ruach that I put upon you and the words that I put in your mouth, I'm going to put it on your seed. Now, that goes back to what we were talking about in John 15, John 14, John 16, 1 John 2, that the anointing that you have received, you have no need for any man to teach you. In order to do all of those things that we just referenced, well, you got to get into his covenant first. You can't even say you in the truth to not walk in truth until you actually agree to be in covenant with him. Listen, Israel ain't catch no wrath in the first half of the book until they did what? All these things you said we will do. Now you in the quote unquote truth because you entered into a covenant with him. You have agreed for him to be your God, and you have agreed for you to be his people. You know what I'm saying? So now when you turn around and you look at it on the New Testament side of things, until Yahushua has actually been preached to you and you accepted that, man, and you've been immersed in his name, you ain't in no covenant with that man. You know what I'm saying? Because people talk about he left the truth. You know what I'm saying? It said, matter of fact, get it from 2 Peter chapter 2, verse 18. Make it 7.
These are wells without water, clouds that are carried with a tempest, to whom the midst of darkness is reserved forever.
Mm-hmm.
For when they speak great swelling words of vanity, they allure through the lust of the flesh. Through much wantonness, those that were clean escape from them who live in error.
Let me tell you something, man. You cleanse yourself up with the word, you could get, he'll allow you to escape from wicked people. But you know, a lot of people don't weigh and consider that. Because he make a way out. He make a way out. There's two things he make a way out on: temptation, and he'll deliver you from the wicked. Sometimes, but see, you want your deliverance to be immediate. It'll come. But the thing is once you recognize that door open, you got to go through it. See, like a lot of people misappropriate certain terms. Like people say, you got to step out on faith. Man, stepping out on faith don't mean go start no business and thank God behind that. They ain't got nothing to do with him. That's your stuff. What I mean by that is, when he talking about doing something by faith, it's something that's going to advance his word, his kingdom, and bring honor and esteem to him. Not you believing in something because that's what you want to do. You know what I'm saying? You don't need no Amuna for that because that's what you wanted to do. Because he didn't promise you no thriving business, no great job. What did he promise you, Sam? Food, clothing, and raiment. That's all he promised you. That's all he got to give you. That's what your law say. Duty of marriage. Give him food, give him clothes, and duty of marriage. You know what duty of marriage is? You know what? Remember what that means? Look at conjugals. So if you look at that spiritually, what is conjugal? Because obviously you're not having conjugals with Yahuwah. That means this is intimate companionship. What is intimate companionship for us? Ruach HaKodesh. That's all he promised. When he told you to pray to your father, what he told you that you would have, give us what? Daily bread. Because you don't know what tomorrow gonna bring, so you need to be worried about what you're gonna make 6 months from now. Did you eat today? Are you clothed today? You have a roof over your head today. And give thanks, we'll let tomorrow take care of tomorrow. Because you don't know what type of evil or good gonna happen tomorrow. Book tell you that. Don't boast in tomorrow, because you have no idea what the day gonna bring. If somebody got up today and thought they were gonna see tomorrow, they on their way to the medical examiner's office. And not to go talk to somebody either. If somebody went to the hospital and they thought they were going home, and now they waiting for the funeral home to come pick them up. And the thing is, they don't know they waiting on them. So when you understand that, man, it's a lot of people had a lot of plans for tomorrow, and tomorrow never came. Like I say, tomorrow came, they just weren't there to see it. Let's not say tomorrow never came, because tomorrow came. But you didn't join tomorrow. So when you know and you understand that, you will say, man, look here, man, that's your stuff. Because everything, and when we say stuff like that, it's always related to us and what we want. It's never nothing related to him and his will and his way and what advances and promotes his righteousness. Because what we don't be realizing is this here, man. God can give you what you want. But if God give you what you want, you know what that means? He don't fool with you. You aware of that, ain't it? Give you over to your heart. Man, if God give you everything you want, man, he don't fool with you. But see, people don't tell you that that's what the book say. He said, I gave them over to their heart's desire. Let me see what their end gonna be. See, that don't mean that you don't get what you want, but if you get everything, listen, how you think y'all children would be if you gave them everything they want? They ain't even spoiling the title. Let's sit back and look at it like this here, right? How many of y'all children ask for candy every day? Because I know mine do. Now, how many teeth you think they'd have in their mouth if you gave them candy every day? How many of your children would be diabetic if you gave them the ice cream, the cookies, and cakes that they ask for every day instead of a balanced meal? You see all these fat, bad body children out here. You know why them children look like that? Because that baby keep asking for McDonald's and you keep giving it to him. Why you at McDonald's is beyond me. But if you give somebody everything they want, you ain't got good sense, you'll destroy yourself. Because you ain't gonna never pick. Most people don't have enough sense to pick the things that's best for them. You're gonna pick the things that feel the best, that taste the best. Why you think so many niggas got diabetes and high blood pressure? Because he can't put that, I want all them cakes. Let me get the pound cake, let me get the cheesecake. You eat them all in one sit? Who told you to eat a whole chocolate cake and a cheesecake in the same day? You got people like, I can't lose weight. I bet you can't. Why is you at the buffet, nigga? Why did you go up there 4 times? Well, it's no different than with any amount of sin. Imagine he gave you everything you want. Man, there's a lot of people that you think are successful in this world and God don't fool with them. And you think because they get on the stage and say, I want to thank God, you think, what God is they talking about? Do you know it's many gods under heaven? Are y'all aware of that? How many gods you think it is under heaven? See, don't answer that. Because there's too many to name. I'm telling you, it's too many to name. See, you think God represents the God of God, but there are many gods. So just because somebody say, I want to thank God, what God are you talking about? Are you talking about Thor? Are you talking about Zoroaster? Are you talking about Serapis? Are you talking about Saturnalia? Are you talking about Zeus? Are you talking about Demeter? Are you talking about Diana? Are you talking about Osiris? Are you talking about Horus? Are you talking about Hathor? Are you talking about Happy? Who are you talking about? Now, if you're talking about the living Elohim, you'd be talking about Yahuwah. But let me give you a news flash for those of you who don't know. The whole world didn't worship Yahuwah in antiquity. Only the Israelites did. See, you don't let these white folks grab Christianity. You think that the Bible was a worldwide book, and it was not. It was them group of people over here. Everybody else had their own God. That's what when we were talking about earlier, that's where the male temple prostitutes came in at. That's where you had to take your children and throw them in the fire to Molech. That's when you go to talk about Baal Peor. That's why they was out there getting freaky. But that's what Baal Peor required. Why? What type of God was Baal Peor? Who know what type of God Baal is? Fertility God. When you deal with fertility gods, you got to do some fertility things. Fertility gods require some hunching. And they didn't care if it was man on man, woman on woman, man on beast. Didn't make no difference. Somebody need to be hunching around here. But see, that people don't talk to us about that for you to understand that culturally of what was going on. That's why for those of y'all who've been here, you know, there's mention of other gods in the Bible. We went over every historical context of everyone in the book so you could see the rituals and the rites of what they were doing around. You know, that's appealing to you. You know, you're a human being and you hear, yeah, man, our God let us have sex with 20 different women at a time. For real? My God don't let me do that. You need to come over here with us, man. Your God restricted you, man. We free. Now you got herpes. No, that's what I'm just telling you. Look it up. I just ran across a video on YouTube that dude was talking about that. All the gods in the Bible. You see an entertainer get that. You see Jay-Z get on stage. I want to thank God. What God you talking about, cuz? Yeah, he around here talking about Allah. But then he walk around with a shirt some years back that say, do what you will. So that means if you fooling with a Lester Crowley, that means that Lester Crowley was an Egyptian sex magnet. So he worshiped the gods of the Egyptians. And you know what Yahuwah did during the Exodus? He brought judgment on all the godly Egyptians. Y'all remember we were looking at each plague representative of a deity in Egypt who he was destroying? But see, people don't talk about that, so then you don't be knowing. What we have said?
2 Peter 2.
Go ahead. Let's just add this here, but and we can go back over it for those of y'all who are not aware. But if you think people freaky now, you have no idea how freaky people were 2, 3, 4, 5,000 years ago. Unencumbered. See, now, people feel like, it's not good for society to be, man, the people ain't had no restraints back then. Because nobody cared. No, if you was in America, right? You in America, right? Do you think that it would be acceptable if somebody said in our church, we have orgies twice a week? How do you think that would be viewed? In 2026, if people knew, hey, you come to this building here and it's 100 butt naked adults in here. And they about to get it down in the name of their God. Remember we talked about that with Bacchus, with the Bacchus feast that's mentioned in 1 Peter 4, when he said abominable idolatries and revelries. That's referring to the Bacchus feast. Those were sex feasts. I'm not saying this to be provocative or to, I'm dead serious. You can look this stuff up. This stuff is not hard to find. This is human history. This is common stuff. Y'all can go to school. They can tell you about Bacchus, and they're not going to tell you what they was doing in the Bacchus festivals. You know what I'm saying? They don't taught y'all about Bacchus at y'all school? You know who that is? You know who Bacchus is? Because y'all in high school, so they might have taught y'all. It's a Roman deity. How many of y'all got taught about Bacchus in school? Because I did. He was in my world history class. But it's a Roman deity. And they would have, sexual festivals in his honor. But when I was in school, they left that part out. They just mentioned that he was a god of the Romans. What you actually did and worship to that god, they left that out. The same like we done told you about Saturnalia. They leave that part out, that the Romans exchanged gifts and then had homosexual sex and then went home and beat up their wife. They leave that part out. When they tell you about Horus and Osiris, Horus and Set, they leave the part out where Set masturbates and ejaculates on lettuce and then try to sodomize his nephew. They leave that out. Because they don't want you to see how sexually degenerate that they are. So then when you get into the Bible says, hey, you can't be no punk. And you can't do this and you can't do that. It's different because there's no other quote unquote religious text that has this many levels of sexual prohibition. The rest of the cultures and societies around the Israelites at that time are what we would call now sexually free. See, white people came up with sexually freedom because they're sexual degenerates in general, and they always have been. Study white society. I'm not telling you this because I dislike white people. I'm telling you this because I know how to read. And if you go read the Greek society, Roman society, and any dominant society that they ran, there was a continual pattern of sexual degeneracy in them. This is historical record. This is not personal opinion. These are not feelings. So what you see them doing now is they trying to bring about what they've always done in any society that they have ran. Again, I told you the Arabs are the same. Don't just study Islam. Actually study Arab culture before Islam was created. They had 360 gods, one for every day of the year. These people been perverts. They're reverting back to the ways of antiquity, living how they've always lived. They just tired of doing it in private. They want to do it in the open. I want to marry a 9-year-old girl. That's what they do over there. So you ain't know that, did you? Yeah, man, in them Arab countries, man, they can marry a 9-year-old. It's legal. Go over to Afghanistan right now, man, them women can't even walk around with nothing out. When I say nothing out, you can't even see their eyes, man. And they can marry them girls as young as 7. That's their culture. That's how they live. That's what their gods allow them to do. Yeah, but they don't talk about that because you only see the news. You don't study them people cultures to know how they actually live and why the people be trying to get the hell over here. Then they come over here and then they think it's better for them. And then, they get Americanized. But that's another conversation. Come on.
In verse 19.
Go ahead.
It said, while they promise them liberty, they themselves are the servants of corruption, for whom a man is overcome, of the same as he brought in bondage. For after they have escaped the pollutions of the world through the knowledge of the Lord and Savior, Yahushua HaMashiach, they are again entangled therein.
Bible verses, not dwelling on the past. You see a vision of spirit and fear. Oh, she said she repeats 2 Timothy 1:7. Read that for me real fast. I'll be forgetting I ain't in front of that.
So what does 2 Timothy?
Yeah, 1:7. You can make it 3 though.
I thank Elohim, whom I served from my forefathers with a pure conscience, that without ceasing I have remembrance of you in my prayers night and day, greatly desiring to see you, being mindful of your tears, that I may be filled with joy. When I call to remembrance the unfeigned faith that is in you, which dwelt first in your mother Lois and your mother Eunice, and I am persuaded that in you also. Put in remembrance that you stir up the gift of Elohim, which is in you, by the putting on of my hands.
Right.
For Elohim have not given us the rock of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind.
So I want you to do my favor. Read fear, power, sound mind by definition in Greek.
Fear is delia, timidity, fearfulness, cowardice.
Cowardice. Do y'all remember what it, by definition, what it means to be a coward? Because we're over here, right? We're real big on words have meaning. Not the general colloquial understanding of what people say a word means, but what it actually means. Give them coward by definition, say it in English. I'm trying to let it charge it, but move it that way. One of the definitions, if my memory serves me correctly, is individuals who are afraid of confrontation. You can also give them the definition of timid in English while you're at it.
It's a noun referring to a person who lacks courage in the face of danger, difficulty, or opposition, and is easily frightened.
Notice it said that you lack courage in the face of what?
Of danger, difficulty, or
opposition. We want to put danger to the side. I'll be honest with you. There's nothing wrong with having a level of fear in a sense of danger. It's just having the courage to overcome that. Because anybody who's ever been in a dangerous situation gonna tell you they were scared. You know what I'm saying? Anybody who tell you they have a little bit of fear in them, I ain't gonna say fear, but a little scared, they lying to you. Because you're human. You know what I'm saying? But you just don't allow the fear to paralyze you. You don't allow that to dictate how you respond. You know what I'm saying? But notice he said in the face of what? Opposition. Or difficulty. You don't want to face it. You don't want to deal with it. So what do? You're going to run. Now, I know that somebody had a song along them lines, didn't it? And everybody liked the reference. All this time, I still never heard that song in its entirety. She's a runner. But what is he talking about this individual? Context clues, I would take this somebody who can't deal with certain life difficulties and she run away. But there's a lot of people who live their life like that. When things get too difficult for them, they run away. You know why you're running away? Because you're a coward. Because it's difficult, and instead of facing it and overcoming it, you would just run away or stick your head in the sand, and if I just act like it's not there, it'll go away. But guess what happens? It's just like hurt. It never goes away. You got to go to the clinic and get the stuff, and then it'll go away. You got to face it. Timid, by definition, if you would have
good. Describe someone who is shy, easily frightened, or lacking in self-confidence. Points to a tendency to be overly cautious, hesitant, or unassertive in social situations.
Notice that he said that we tend to be overly what?
Overly cautious.
I mean, you scared to do stuff.
Or hesitant.
And you ain't going to make a decision.
Unassertive in social
and you don't know how to assert yourself.
And then, lack of courage says an avoidance of bold action, conflict, or danger.
Avoidance of bold what?
Of bold action.
Now go to Proverbs 28:1. Just read till I hear what I want to hear.
The wicked flee when no man pursues, but the righteous are bold as a lion.
They bold as a what?
As a lion.
Tell them what bold means right there. I know what it means. That's confidence. So the righteous have confidence like a lion. Well, what is this confidence that they have? It's confidence in Yahuwah. He said, but the wicked do what?
Flee when no man pursues.
Because they cowards, they timid. So when things become difficult and difficult to deal with, I'm going to run away. But because you built your house upon a rock, you can be confident as a lion, you're not going to run away. You're can face it. That's what he mean about he didn't give you the spirit of fear. He give you the spirit to run away. He gave you the spirit of confidence. How you gonna have the spirit of God and be fearful? Man, that man ain't no hope. You know what I'm saying? And what I'm talking about is like I said, meaning you lack confidence. If you believe that he's not a man that he should lie, nor the son of a man that he should repent, if he said it, he gonna do it. And the strength of Yasharal is not a man that he should lie. And that trust you in Yahuwah forever, for trusting Yahuwah is everlasting strength. Then where does the cowardice come in at? You understand what I'm saying? Where does that come in at? Because you read it for himself. You know we don't need no excuse. Isaiah 26:3.
You will keep him in perfect shalom, whose mind is stayed on you, because he trusts in you.
Trust.
And Yahuwah forever.
For trust.
And Yahuwah's everlasting strength.
Now think about that for a moment. Hold on. Say Arabs for the most part were in the South until they got to the Zama, now the whole Indeed. Definitely indeed. And now they nasty, perverted behinds everywhere. I keep telling y'all that, man. Hopefully one day y'all go look it up so you can see that the people nasty. And they don't like women. I know y'all like to get people on there on the internet and be like, black men don't like women. Black women like date women way more than everybody else do. I'll tell you that. Because Asian men don't like they women. Because Asian women are ball busters. If you ain't never been around no Asian women, you won't know. Asian women are cantankerous disciplinary problems. I'm telling you. You ever been around some Asian women? How many of y'all have been around some Asian women before? I'm talking about in their natural habitat. I know you know. If you've been around them, you know. They run their men. They men are docile and castrated. They hate the women. Man, you marry an Asian woman, man, you don't love yourself. You know I ain't lying. I'm talking about a real Asian. I ain't talking about she been over here in America. She been over in America, she don't count. She might be not. You get you an Asian woman who from Vietnam, from Laos, from Hong Kong, like been over there, and they culture, they run the men, man. They do the women, man. Look at man. It was amazing to me, right? When Jesus, what's the lady name Jesus was married to? You know what I'm talking about? Yeah. But nevertheless, who gives it that? But she Vietnamese. And you know, of course, because he was married to her, they did it went and stuff by her family. You see her mama was just like the Cambodian chick I do, mama. Ball buster. Just rude, difficult, disrespectful. You know what I'm saying? You know, and you look at that as a man, if you self-aware, you be like, oh, I might like you, but boy, you gonna turn out like your mama one day. I know it. You know what I'm saying? Hispanic women, you know what I'm saying? They ain't mean like that. And black women ain't mean like that either. Y'all just be acting like that. Y'all be messing with bum niggas and they mess up your brain and then you want to take that out on everybody else for the rest of your life. You know what I'm saying? But Hispanic dudes don't really dislike their women either. You know, they like their women. But white men, Asian men, and Arab men, well, they don't like women, boy. Now, Asian men ain't gay though. You know what I'm saying? They just don't like they women like that. They not gay. Arab and white men are gay. You looking crazy. I'm not telling you what I think. I'm telling you what history knows. They like boys. Let me tell y'all something. I'm not saying this to be funny. I'm telling you, do your research. When you study a group of people culturally over an extended period of time, because you're looking at things in modern times, but your cultural habits are your cultural habits, and you pass them down from generation to generation. That's why they're cultural habits. So when you see their cultural habits, they try to seek them in whatever society that they're dominant in, because this is how they conduct themselves. So when you study white society, because white people don't have a long history of society, let's let that be known. You know what I'm saying? The dominant society that you know is the Greeks and the Romans. They were overwhelmingly homosexual. Everybody knows this. You know what I'm saying? Y'all niggas went to college and did toga parties. White men wore them to Rome. Let me say white. Romans wore togas because it gave them easy access to that man's butt. Because that's what they were on. When you get to the French and you get to the British and you get to all of them, they weren't necessarily as homosexual as the Greeks and the Romans, yet that still was an underlying theme in their societies because they're derived from those cultures. Because that's how they conducted themselves. When you look at Arab culture specifically, I don't care if it's the Saudis, I don't care if it's the Iraqis, I don't care if it's the Iranians, I don't care if it's the Afghanis. If you look at their culture, not 100 years ago, but 1,000 years ago, 1,500 years ago, 2,000 years ago, 3,000 years ago, you're going to see an underlying theme of sexual degeneracy and deviancy. You know what I'm saying? They go over there to the Kaaba in Mecca, and that symbolizes a woman's vagina. That's what it looks like. It looks like a woman's vulva. That's what they're going over there to kiss because they worship the reproductive organs of the man and the woman. Like I'm not being funny. You know what I'm saying? I know I be joking, but I'm not joking right now. I'm dead serious. This is stuff that I've been studying since 1995. So I'm not telling you about no personal opinion based on how I feel about these people. I'm telling you what I know. These people don't like women, they gay. Does that mean every white man is gay? Of course not. Does that mean every Arab man is gay? Of course not. But the underlying theme of their societies and culture is homosexuality and pedophilia. Because Muhammad married a 9-year-old girl, man. And Muhammad said if a woman wasn't around, you could have sex with a sheep because a sheep was the next best thing to a woman's vagina. This is in the Hadith. Go read it for yourself. I'm not telling you nothing you can't go find and read for yourself. That's why I could never be a Muslim. I'm going to be a Muslim, and this nigga talking about having sex with a sheep, and this nigga married a 9-year-old, and you going to tell me I'm going to follow a God that sent his prophet to marry a 9-year-old? I ain't even know no Bible, but I know I ain't finna listen to no nigga who having sex with a 9-year-old, and he's 60-something years old. Look how old y'all is now. Could you imagine yourself being in the intimate dealings with a 9-year-old? How about hanging out with a 9-year-old that you don't take care of? Because you only hang out with 9-year-olds now because they're your children. And you barely want to hang out with them now. And you know why? Because every time I come out the door, you know what I hear? I want something. I want something. You always want something. Motherfucker them got mad today. Can we have chips? We got chips at the house. I'm not buying no damn bag of chips in here, man. You got 40 bags of chips at the house. But I know they ain't got no concept of no money, man. I went to grab something to eat because I ain't eat all day yesterday. So, man, you didn't get a drink for us. These drinks $6. We finna share this drink. What you mean, who? I'm not finna buy 4 of them. Well, no, it's not. See, that's why women be doing silly. You spend $30 on some beverages so they can all have one. And for what? They didn't want the beverage because they wanted the goddamn beverage. They wanted it because they seen it. Jealous. Or you had one. No, I don't even want this beverage. I need the beverage to wash the food down. Y'all can bust this down. I'm not spending $6 for a drink for a 2, 4, and 11-year-old. Water. I don't come from that time. They want it, so I'm going to get it. That's why niggas broke. Because you feel like you got to buy everything they want. I ain't got no, you know how many times my mama looked me in the face and said, no. But I want it. No. Now, I went to the next resort. I stole it. But that's sure they old enough to do that. Oh yeah, I steal them toys. Toys R Us, you get hit. Oh, you ain't gonna buy it? Don't even worry about it. Don't even worry about it. But get that rest of the man one day or another. He coming home with me. You know what I'm talking about? My cousin used to be in the backseat of the car. How you got that? Don't worry about it. I'm dead serious. I just had a flashback. We was coming out Toys R Us. She was like, how you got that whole Hogan? Don't even worry about it. You know what I'm saying? That make it happen. You know what I'm talking about? Man, look here, man. I would never have no. I was like this here, man. Now that house we stay in, it be dark enough. You always cutting goddamn lights on in the daytime. In the daytime. You don't cut them goddamn lights off, man. They looking crazy. You gonna pay a light bill? Because JEA raping niggas. And they just had a rate hike. But cut them goddamn lights off. Give you a lighter. this here. Ooh, play with it. See, y'all knew. See, we already talked about this. Dora's gonna give him everything he asked for. She ain't gonna think twice. That's my baby. I'm gonna get it. She ain't hard enough. And see, you ain't accustomed to that yet, because Joanne and begging all the time. Mother begging, you looking in the store scoping. That's why my wife don't like to take them in the store. She claims because they don't know how to behave, because they ask for every goddamn thing. And they feel like you supposed to buy it. Okay. I'm gonna show you how the Lord do it. I ain't gonna give you everything your heart desires. No. Now you gotta teach them that. You know what I'm saying? You can't get everything you want. And you get them everything they want, they're gonna go out there in the world and think that that's how the world operates. They're gonna be disappointed. I done already told you. See, a lot of women be messed up. I seen the lady say, I asked my daddy for $30 for lunch. He gave me $100. You think I'm gonna deal with a man who ain't gonna do that? You're gonna be lonely, ho. Because I ain't your daddy. You know what I'm talking about? And a lot of these niggas, see, you think that Simpsons the problem. A lot of niggas who have women who had a daddy, their daddy the goddamn problem. Because boy, nobody finna do all that for you. I don't even know you. See, I'm not talking about that aspect. There's nothing wrong with doing that for her. I don't know you. Your daddy had a reason to do that for you. You're his child. He has a fiduciary responsibility and duty to you. So of course, you his baby. He gonna give you whatever you want. I don't know you. So why in God's name would I do any of these things for you and I don't know you? And you're coming into this with the expectation, well, my daddy did it for me, so he set the standard for men. No, he didn't, because your daddy not having quarters with you. And your daddy don't got to live with you. And your daddy don't got to integrate with you. And your daddy don't have to communicate with you. Because the way you communicate with your daddy is not how you're going to communicate with me, because we're going to have a different relationship. That's a different interaction. I don't know you. I have never seen any woman on the face of this earth that I thought was so beautiful that I think that I just need to give her stuff. No, I don't know you, ma'am. I'm not doing that for nobody. I don't know you. It's nothing personal against you. I don't know you. You have to earn that. Do you know how much work I have to put in to make this money? Imagine if you still worked in the coal mine. Now, every man in here know it, and some of you ladies know it. You know how hard you worked to make the money that you made. And I'm just going to give it to you because you feel like I should. Yeah, I'll be by myself. Listen, man, before the word, I'd rather buy weed. Before I do that, then I'll buy some reefer first. You know what I'm saying? Because the reefer not going to bother me. It ain't going to say nothing crazy to me. I can just be here by myself. But I say that because people don't believe that you need to add some value to somebody to where they want to extend value back to you. You think your existence is enough because your daddy told you that. The same way that women do that to their sons. You know what I'm saying? You ruin that man because, hey, you know what you did to that boy? He don't got to make his bed. He ain't got to do this. He ain't got to do that. And he's big, grown, rusted behind, grow up, and he think this woman supposed to do that for him. Well, my mama did it for me, but the difference is, if a man say all that, you know the first thing a woman gonna tell you, little Johnny? I ain't your mama. You know what I'm saying? But if I say I ain't your daddy, I hate women. You know what I'm saying? Because y'all quick to say that I ain't your mama. I ain't doing all that. And that's why as a man you have to be fully functional to where you don't look for a woman to be your mama. And you shouldn't be looking for me to be your daddy. I'll be your husband. I can't be your daddy. You want your daddy to do all that? You need to stay at his house. You need to stay over there. No, because it gives them a different evaluation. Because ain't no man gonna treat you like your daddy treats you. It's not gonna happen. Just like there's no woman who gonna love you like your mama love you. Your mama carried you for 9 months. What woman gonna love you like that? She didn't carry you. You didn't nurse on her body. That woman ain't never gonna love you like that. Your mama don't depend on you for leadership, guidance, and instruction. But your wife will. So you'll never get that type of love from your mama. It's insane to look for that. Ain't no man gonna love you like your father loved you. He may give you the elements of leadership and direction, but that's a bond. You his seed. He watched you get birthed. He cared for you. When you were sad, he hugged, he did all of these things. And that's what I mean by some men mess their daughters up because you think that a man should be a replica of you. Because he could have treated you like that and treated your mama like yesterday's trash. But you won't be able to make the difference between the two because you didn't know he treated your mama dirty. And you think he the greatest man in the world. Then you grow up and find out your mama hated that man. But come on, Sylvia, we gotta get up on time.
3:30.
We started. But yeah, the doors gonna have that one. I already see it, but little Judah gonna be like this here. I ain't gotta make my bed, nigga. My mama make my bed. And that nigga gonna be 30 years old telling me he ain't gotta make his bed. You gotta make my bed. My mama always made my bed. And she cut my pancake. Why you won't cut my pancake? That's what you can do. You can see it in there doing it though. You know, we ain't gotta do nothing. See, she already know. She done told him. That's the baby know. But they know you sweeter than bear meat out here, man. Hold on, let me see something. Say it's crazy because they don't talk about the deep history of these other cultures, only black folks' history. Yeah, indeed. Y'all mama said y'all don't stop asking for stuff now. Y'all teenagers. I know y'all stay asking. That's why she can't take y'all to the mall. But when they get older, they get more expensive. That's why I don't shop at the mall now. I buy everything online. I ain't got to worry about it. You ain't got to never ask me for nothing. Shoes just gonna show up at the house for you. Clothes just show up at the house for you. I don't need, especially a little girl, but I'm not walking through no mall with no little girl. Because I ain't got no problem telling you no. See, some of y'all, you got a problem telling that's my daughter, ain't? No. I learned earlier, my mama taught me well. No. How many times mama used to tell you no? She didn't tell you no? See, she was sweet on you. She was the baby. They let Muffin slide. Just don't get it for her. Them niggas would tell me, Aisha, no. Then when Sean was born, he got it even. He ain't never hit no no. But how you niggas get old and get soft? I ain't never understood that there, man. We the oldest ones, we get told no. She the youngest one, oh yeah, don't get it for her. Oh, she can get it. God damn, when I was that age to ask for it, there was a problem. Niggas ain't right. You know what I'm saying? It ain't right. Look, I'm trying to tell you it ain't right. Gotta tell them no. Feels scary. I already knew that. They, you know, she was the last. You know, my mom was about 36 when she had Muffin. I already know she didn't get what she wanted. Yeah, we was in Isaiah 59. We had Zechariah 12, whatever. But yeah, though, we're dealing with the spirit of acceptance. So when he said the Redeemer come, desire unto those who turn from transgression, and this is the covenant that I'm gonna make with them, that the ruach that is upon you and the words that is in your mouth will not depart out of your seed or your seed. See, that takes us back to not seeds of many, but seeds of one. That seed being a Mashiach. I don't think we read that verse in Galatians. Go ahead back to it. It was in 3 and 13.
Mashiach have redeemed us from the curse of the law, being made a curse for us. For it is written, cursed is everyone that hang on a tree, that the blessing of Abraham might come on the Gentiles through Yahushua HaMashiach, that we might receive the promise of the Ruach of faith. Brethren, I speak after the manner of men, though it be but a man's covenant, yet if it be confirmed, no man is annul or add thereto. Now to Abraham and his seed were the promises made. He saith not, and seeds as of many,
but seeds of
one,
that seed,
which is a Mashiach.
So stop. Now that takes us back to Abraham, because Abraham produced one, and that one came a multitude, which is one body that came from one. Now we could talk about the circumcision, but we're not. We don't have time to. But go back to Zechariah 12 and 10.
And I will pour upon the house of David and upon the inhabitants of Jerusalem the rock of grace and of supplication.
So again, give them supplication. But I mentioned a lot of those things because the spirit of acceptance. That's what he said. That man resurrected from the dead to send forth the Ruach HaKodesh, that sends forth the spirit of acceptance. I can accept you. That's why we read the Romans 5. While you were enemies, he died for you so that you can be accepted. So knowing that there's a spirit of acceptance, you don't have to be living in regret. Oh, that's what we were reading in 2 Timothy 1. You don't have to live in with the timidness, lacking confidence. That you can have full confidence and assertion in your God, you've been reconciled. You're supposed to get a definition of sound mind in 2 Timothy.
Supplications is takanun, or you got takaduna. That is supplication for favor, command, or the Elohim, or earnest prayer.
Earnest prayer or asking for favor from God. That's why he said, hey, ask whatever you will, and if in my name, and I'll do it. And if it be according to his will, then he'll do it. Because now you can be accepted. Why? Because he said he don't hear the prayers of sinners. But he that is a worshiper of Elohim and do his will, him he hear. So when you deal in that, I'm pouring out a spirit of acceptance and a spirit where you can make requests of me and I will grant them. Go to
2 Timothy.
yeah, we did fear.
Yeah, power is dunamis, that is strength, power, or ability.
So now we already read that in Isaiah 26. That strength, power, and ability come from trusting in Yahuwah. That your mind is stayed on him because you trust him. But trust in Yahuwah forever. But trust in Yahuwah is everlasting strength. And then sound mind.
That is sophonismos, that is an admonishing or calling to soundness of mind, to moderation and self-control.
Self-control.
Discipline.
And you know what that discipline gonna take us back to? By the truth and sell it not. Also wisdom, understanding, and instruction. In Hebrew, the word for discipline is gonna be musar. Remember, discipline in and of itself means one thing. What is that one thing, Sid? And in its totality. He's stuck. So Johnny, help him out. Monte, help him out, man. That boy stuck. Somebody help him. Discipline in and of itself means one thing in particular, especially if you're dealing with Musar. Not that one. Even with chastisement in Hebrew, it's going to be Musar, and it means one thing in particular. I told you the absence of it is the epitome of cruelty. Not just that, there's one other thing to it. Because with that, in order to give correction, you have to do what? You have to give instruction. So discipline in and of itself is in reality is teaching and instruction. You know what I'm saying? So when you have a sound mind and you have discipline, how can you have self-control without instruction? How would you know where to control yourself from unless you have been instructed? I go back to what I mentioned earlier. A lot of people don't take the time to teach their children. That's why the text say train a child up. And people hear that part of in the way that they should go, and they will not depart. Well, you actually have to have the wherewithal, the patience, the love, the care to sit down and teach them. But most people don't have the patience because you're frustrated, because you want them to catch it instantaneously. But then sit here and ask yourself this question. When you got in the word, did you catch it instantaneously? And did the Lord have patience with you to continually instruct you until you actually could grasp what he was communicating? But yet you can't do that with those who are flesh of your flesh and bone of your bones and made in your image and likeness. And you can't extend the same love, care, and long suffering to them. You know what that's going to make you? A first-class hypocrite. Because what you want from God, you won't even extend to your own offspring. Now, ain't that about a funky shit? You know what I'm saying? And that's why we have to put those things in that type of perspective. Don't refrain from extending the same courtesy to your child if you want God to extend to you. Because guess what you are to him? You his child. And he don't raise his children like that. So why would you do listen, everything, and I've told you this for years, everything we do, we're talking about raising children, man, we talk about that from that book and what he do. I don't give a damn what niggas been doing since we've been alive. That's irrelevant to me. You know what I'm saying? I all know what we all have been taught, seen, and heard, done, and this, that, there, and the third. But I'm talking about what God do. Because God is going to produce better results. Because I can guarantee you, if you raise them how he say to raise them, they won't be damaged mentally, emotionally, or spiritually. I can tell you that. Unless they had a trauma that ain't had nothing to do with you. Then of course you got to take it. We like this here, right? You got to take into account if your child 4 years old, they learning how to use the toilet and they panic and boo boo on the floor. You gonna whoop them for it? Why you left them in there to boo boo by themselves if you know they just learning how to do it? What you expected them to do? You know what a 4-year-old gonna do if he take a dump and he missed the toilet? He gonna panic. And that panic gonna I gotta clean it up. And then to clean it up, he don't know what he doing. Because you know why? Because he too scared to come and say, I boo-booed on the floor. Because you know why he ain't gonna come and tell you he boo-booed on the floor? Because you're gonna go off on him. And you're gonna forget the fact that this boy is 4. What do you expect from him? Do you expect for him to perform at the level of a 14-year-old? Because if my 14-year-old boo-booed on the floor, what the hell is wrong with you? And I still probably wouldn't stop because I'm gonna be confused. Did you not look before you sat? Did you have diarrhea? You just couldn't make it? What's going on? I'm concerned. You know what I'm saying? You got to take into account your child. You got to take into account their age. You got to take into account. You can't compare your children to your other children because they not them. Because the way that child think and operate is not how this child think and operate. They all don't have the same level of intelligence. Some children are smarter than others. Some are wiser than others. Everything got to be individualized. When you talk about instruction and discipline, can't discipline everybody the same way across the board. I'm not talking about the consequence. I'm talking about the instruction. The instruction can't be the same. Because you might be able to be harsh with this one, but you can't be harsh with that one. But you know what you try to do? You try to be harsh with all of them. You know what ended up happening? You don't have a sound mind. Still, one of my children got self-control. They're going to do what feels good in the moment. You know how their mind work? If I'm telling them to do something and it's something they doing, their mind can't fathom that I need to stop this and go do this and then come back. Their mind say, I must finish what I'm doing first and then go over. That's just how their mind works. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to cuss them out for it because that might be beneficial to them later when they become an adult. Some people can't multitask or have a desire to do it. You know what I'm saying? So you got to look at that. See, Muffin thinks she can multitask, but she can't. She had the nerve to say she can do it. And then right after it said she can do it, she didn't do her work properly. But I just told you you couldn't do your work properly. Because you know what they like to do? Want to wash dishes and do everything and wash that tablet. Cut that goddamn. Do the work first. That just ain't going. You know what I'm saying? But it ain't no different than when you're dealing with the work. You got a lot of outside interference. You can't multitask. You can cut that stuff off so you can focus. Come on, Zero. Where we at? We finna cut.
We'll do a first or 2 Timothy 1.
Yes, sir.
Isaiah 59:20. We'll go with that.
Yes, sir. It was something else from the beginning. I can't remember what it was. What you doing to that boy? Man, what you doing to that boy back there? Oh, that's your baby. Oh, I thought that was her back there. So, little Derek. Watch it. Girl, ain't nothing wrong with you. Then you gotta know, cause see, my children be fake too. They like they live out of crying. Ain't nothing wrong with you. And they know how to cut real tears on, but they really phony. So you can't fall for that. See, Dora's gonna fall for that. He gonna start shedding tears. She gonna fall for it. I'm telling you, man, children are master manipulators. Master manipulators. You don't recall how much of a master manipulator you was because you done got older and you think you good at it now, but you ain't good at it now. They find out what you weak for and they do it to see if it works. I done seen Jamal cry real tears and snap out of it instantaneously. So it wasn't nothing wrong with you. Because when they really upset, they can't cut that off that quick. You know what I'm saying? You're running the game. Joanne been doing it her whole life. Now both of them on the move, they want to stick their lip out. They ain't gonna play. Come on, sir. I think that's it.
Yeah, we don't want everything that
So I mentioned that Zechariah 12 because of the spirit of grace and supplications and acceptance and receiving of prayers leads to where you become one in him, which leads into Abraham, because Abraham was questioned because he didn't have a seed. And then he gave him a seed, and that seed was born, and everyone emanates from said seed, and that seed is a blessing to the whole world, like we read in Genesis 12. So we'll stop it right here for now, though. So hallelujah for Yahushua the word. But yeah, any of y'all got an idea for a partner? Because I was focused on that album, and I ain't thought about them because we gonna have to check. No, because it's more like I said, because it's some of them, especially it's summertime too. Somebody might have that baseball field reserved, and the city gonna tell you to get missing. Yeah, you would want niggas to go to the ocean with him. You want us to die, man. You want the white people. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. You want the white people to come get us. Huh? Indeed. I know they said they want to be across the bridge on this side of the bridge. Y'all niggas don't like going on the south side. There's white people over there. You scared. No, I ain't gonna lie to you, they don't. Yeah, because I know my park, around my way, we could have went around there, but then I rode by the other day, I wasn't looking for it to go by that shoot. They done tore the whole park up. Basketball court gone, I guess they finna redo it. Ain't nothing but spring park with heavy machinery and dirt. But yeah, we gotta sort that out. I don't know, you trying to do your fundraiser, I don't know how easy that's gonna be. I don't think people are gonna pop up and be like, yeah, let me go buy a cake. I don't know how they would pull that off because you'd have to have proper time to promote it because it'd have to be done on a Sunday. And we wouldn't be able to do it up here. That's just after the fact. I have to set out there because I already know you's a nigga. She want to do a fish fry. We don't want to give people high cholesterol.
Why not?
Damn. I heard that. She don't care about your health.
Yes, I do, y'all. I use avocado oil.
That make it any better. Say a bunch of resentment and built up some children that don't enjoy harshness. Indeed. But yeah, we'll get that set up. I'll stream from out there when we do it. But, yeah, I appreciate y'all. Bless y'all the house of Elohim in the name of Yahushua. Love y'all, man. Y'all willing, man. We'll be back on Wednesday. Make it do what it do. To that time. Yeah, we 2.5 hours in. That's more than sufficient. You a broke, nigga.